Time is 5 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
This storm could have an impact on your drive in this morning, but it's starting to work its way out of the valley.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, the bulk of the snow thankfully fell overnight and melted, but we are going to still see some scattered snow showers in the valleys, especially, though, up in the mountains this morning. Right now we're seeing a good solid band of snow working its way through Tooele County and into Salt Lake County, but more so that snow is really concentrated, especially, again, up in the mountains. I spoke with Christine Cruz, the lead meteorologist at the National Weather Service, who says the biggest thing you're going to want to look for is with how cold temperatures got between yesterday and today. You're going to want to watch for black ice and take it slow as you're making your way in today. That snow is going to continue to dissipate as we work through the day as dry air moves in. Temperatures after this are going to start to warm up as we work through the week before we have another chance of a storm forecasted coming through Saturday and Sunday. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A skier is lucky to be alive after an avalanche swept her and three friends down the hillside. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston is live with that story. Peter?
Tim, it took a Department of Public Safety helicopter to hoist this skier out of the avalanche field at Little Water Peak on the north side of Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Were not life-threatening, although they definitely got bossed around a bit.
That's Utah Avalanche Center forecaster Craig Gordon, basically saying that this skier's injuries were big but not life-threatening. He says the conditions that led to this included wind shear that cut across the snow-capped peaks in the canyons, and this made the snow much more prone to sliding. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Tense moments between a snowboarder and a homeowner near the Brighton Ski Resort when the snowboarder says the man confronted him with a gun. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
Snowboarder Lauren Richardson tells KSL5 he did not realize he was on private property when he dropped down into a driveway he thought was a road.
He's like angry walking at me and he points the gun right at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get shot.
Brighton Mayor Dan Knoop says they know who the man is who pulled the gun, but the property owner did not directly point the gun at Richardson, who isn't pressing charges. Still, detectives have talked to the man.
So they talked to him about the gun thing first, then he called them for people that were trespassing. Now we have a detective working with them.
Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
Snow today, but spring break is just around the corner, and Americans are even more eager to travel than ever. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Yeah, Tim, AAA is already seeing a significant increase in the number of people who are taking a grand day out to warmer climates. To give you one example, the number of cruises which are sailing out of southern Florida is up by 60% from last year, and these include travelers who are planning and those who are just winging it. Now, at any rate, spring break for Utah's colleges begins as early as next week, with K through 12 grades getting their break later in March and April. Now, plan ahead. Gas prices are starting to go up, and you're likely to see millions of flyers heading out of Salt Lake International and Provo. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Gas prices will be on people's minds as they plan their spring road trips.
Gas prices have been going up in recent weeks as some states begin to switch to summer blends of gas, but also because of an Indiana refinery that had problems a few weeks ago and attacks on tankers in the Red Sea. Some of that has stabilized, and the Energy Department reports in the past week the price of regular unleaded has come down 2 cents to $3.25 a gallon. Alex Stone, ABC News.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Today is Michigan's primary election, but deciding the delegates on the Republican side could get a little complicated.
But there's actually a schism within the Republican Party in Michigan where there are these two different groups that are going to be claiming, oh, we're sending the delegates to the RNC. So both claim to be the legitimate Republican Party of Michigan, and they are both holding conventions on Saturday. It's kind of a mess. There's a lot of inside baseball there. The RNC is going to have to sort it out.
Yeah, Boyd was trying to explain this to us yesterday when he was in studio.
What do you do when that happens?
I don't know. 538 senior elections analyst Nathaniel Rakich says 16 out of the GOP's 55 delegates in Michigan are up for grabs today. The rest of the 39 delegates will be allocated at the party convention.
First look traffic now, and here's Andy Farnsworth. Hello, Andy.
Oh, there we go. Somebody had turned my volume down. As we start this morning off, no surprise with the snow. We've got slowdowns coming up the hill to Port in the Mountain. We've got some vehicles as well off in the way Lehigh going up towards 2100 North, SR 92, and then into the valley. And then going into Parley's Canyon, that's where snowy things really get going on the freeway. Little Cottonwood Canyon closed, big open, but with changed four-wheel drive restrictions. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
The BYU men's basketball team is in Manhattan, Kansas this morning, preparing to play the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks in the historic Allen Fieldhouse. The Cougars face a tough task but are hoping to get a big road win and get back into the top 25. Pre-game here on KSL News Radio will start at 5. The tip coming away at 6 o'clock.
Utah Jazz players have high marks for something other than basketball. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
The Utah Jazz is one of only 8 other NBA teams to not have any current or past players file for bankruptcy. This is significant because NBA player bankruptcy is 6 times that of the regular population, even though many of them make millions. NBA teams proven most likely to produce bankrupt players include the Celtics, Nets, and Bulls. This according to Oddspedia.com. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
It's those giant posses that want to follow them right out of college into the big leagues. A woman is lucky to only have a few cuts and bruises after a crash into a 2,000-pound moose.
Kirsten Christensen lives here in Draper, and she tells me that since the crash last night, she has heard from first responders, medical staff, wildlife officials, all telling her the same thing. She's lucky to be alive.
They were like, "How are you standing? How are you still alive?"
That's KSL TV's Kirsten Nunez, who says Christensen's family was able to take home 200 pounds of moose meat with a wildlife disposal receipt.
President Biden made a surprise visit to NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers, and the president's age was brought up.
We're currently 81 years old.
Who the hell told you that?
Yeah.
That's classified.
That's classified.
The president also talked about the war in Gaza, Taylor Swift, and conspiracies.
A new Western series filmed right here in Utah is getting some buzz after a new trailer was released.
Kevin Costner is looking to redefine Westerns again with his upcoming theatrical series, Horizon, An American Saga.
Hi, I'm Kevin Costner, and wanted to invite you to see Horizon, the American Saga trailer. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time.
4 films are planned, with the first part coming to theaters on June 28th. The second part will hit just 2 months later on August 16th. Parts 3 and 4 have not yet begun production.
There's no army off this earth that's going to stop those wagons coming.
The Oscar-winning filmmaker has been working on the project for more than 6 years. After failing to get a single film made, he broke the story into 4 parts.
All I'm trying to do is get as many of us as I can, as far as I can.
Horizon tells a story of post-Civil War America as settlers expanded westward. I'm Kevin Carr.
Boy, he said some beautiful things in the St. George News about Utah.
Yeah.
I was reading this morning how he said, it might have been more cost-effective to film somewhere else, but he didn't want his audience to miss a bit of Utah.
Well, and we're lucky that so many films throughout our history of a state have been filmed down there in the Kanab area. You just can't recreate that scenery on a set anywhere.
No.
In Hollywood,
it's
for
unique.
sure, yeah.
We have some snow this morning to deal with. We'll check traffic and weather together coming up next.
Join your friends who rely on KSL each morning for the fastest routes to work and school.
I like traffic on the 9s.
So I need to get the kids up earlier so that my son isn't driving quickly in a snowstorm.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Big story this morning, obviously, is this weather, so let's get right to it at 5:09 with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon It does feel, Andy, at least on my way in, that it's real hit and miss. And in our neighborhood, I was digging the truck out this morning.
Yeah, I tracked through snow in my driveway, but then the further I got north and closer to Salt Lake City, it got a little bit better conditions. But right now, the big issue is in Utah County on the freeway. They've blocked all lanes of North 15th, and that stretch going up from Lehigh Main Street towards 2100 North. I'm seeing traffic being brought to a slowdown, and I don't see any traffic getting by the crash itself, which is in the middle of the freeway. That's between 2100 North and SR 92. Those of you who are getting on at Triumph or SR 92, you're going to be okay, but prior to that, all lanes completely blocked at the moment. Heather?
Things are a little bit better in the Salt Lake Valley, but roads are still pretty wet, a lot of spray kicking up from tires. If you're heading into the higher elevations, Parley's Canyon is snow-covered, a lot of snow falling down on the roadway, sticking as well, especially in Kimball Junction. And then Big Cottonwood Canyon requires chains or four-wheel drive right now. Little Cottonwood Canyon is completely shut down for avalanche control. Eric?
Looking good if you're southbound from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. Of course, you do have wet roads, but we don't have any major congestion or major delay spots because of the conditions. We do have some normal slowing over on SR 193. This is at the south gate of Hill Air Force Base, and this is mostly on the eastbound side. Call 8660-RES and say you want the KSL special. $33 per room cleaned and $50 off air duct cleaning. Zero Res. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Courtesy of last night's cold front, we'll see a high of only 37 today with a chance for snow showers. Overnight, we'll dip off to 24, rather chilly. 47 tomorrow, mostly sunny, up to 57 by Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Just a little different than it was yesterday, from 50 to 30 this hour in downtown Salt Lake City.
I read this just this morning, Tim, that there is a report now that Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader, that he was close to being freed. There was a prisoner swap deal when he died. So we're going to learn more about that from Inez de la Cotera with ABC News just ahead on KSL.
Stay with us, and remember, you'll always find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Jazz Plus is here. With Jazz Plus, you can watch games live from your TV, computer, tablet, or phone. So don't miss any of the action when you're at home or away. Can't get enough of your favorite team? Go behind the scenes and see what the team is up to on and off the court. With flexible plans, you can choose what works for you. From full season to monthly, or just pick a single game you want to watch. Sign up and subscribe today at UtahJazzPlus.com.
Jeff Kaplan. When you're online, that's sometimes a source of fourth-hand information. Somebody does the reporting. Another website Googles, they find it, they rewrite it, and by the time you read it, you know the old game telephone. But KSL is a source of primary information. We have reporters on the street. They're out in the field finding out the details. And the difference between online and KSL News Radio, night and day.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
I'm author Richard Paul Evans. My wife once told me that I share too much. I probably do, but maybe that's why I've had 46 consecutive New York Times bestsellers. It's also why I've named my new book, Sharing Too Much, Musings from an Unlikely Life. Sharing Too Much is a private look into my thoughts on love, marriage, the world, and life as a writer. For my readers, you'll get to know me more intimately, the husband, father, and the writer behind the books and movies that have inspired millions worldwide. The national reviews have been great. She Reads writes, a most anticipated anthology. Evans' wise insights and powerful advice is the gift that keeps on giving. Kirkus writes, Evans shares a half-century of ruminations, succinct musings meant to inspire. Sharing Too Much contains 59 essays, including How I Saved My Marriage, which had more than 100 million readers worldwide. Sharing Too Much by Richard Paul Evans. On sale now at your nearby bookstore or online. Also available in audiobook and ebook.
KSL News Time, 5:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
snow and or ice could impact your drive into work. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a skier is lucky to be alive after she was swept down a mountain slope in an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Highway Patrol's letting people get by this crash, northbound 15 up by 20, between 2100 North and SR 92. They've blocked off the two left lanes, and they're forcing everybody to the right as traffic really stacks up in Lehigh. We also have a crash reported a little bit south of Payson in a pretty rough stretch from Santaquin to Payson. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
20 degrees colder today with a chance for snow showers. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now we do have light snow and 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The polls have just opened in the state of Michigan, where today is primary day and where there is a serious challenge playing out for President Biden, not by another person, by a movement of those angry about what's happening in the Middle East. Here's ABC's Perry Russum.
As the civilian death toll mounts in Gaza, Biden has seen support plunge among Arab Americans, especially in Michigan.
I can't throw my full support behind President Biden.
A protest vote.
I'm voting uncommitted.
Organized by a key subset of voters angry over his support of Israel.
I'm very concerned about the direction this country is taking as far as Gaza.
The implications could be huge in a Biden-Trump rematch this fall. Michigan's Democratic governor predicts today's protest vote will be sizable.
The president courting younger voters on late-night TV, talking about the situation in Gaza.
The president telling NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers he's optimistic there will be an Israeli-Hamas ceasefire this weekend.
Ramadan's coming up, and there's been an agreement by the Israelis that they would not engage in activities during Ramadan as well, in order to give us time to get all the hostages out.
Unclear if they can make this fighting pause last longer than the last hostage exchange break. Andy Field, ABC News.
Anger in Georgia following the murder of nursing student Laken Riley on the University of Georgia campus. Under arrest, a Venezuelan migrant in the country illegally. This is Georgia Governor Brian Kemp.
She deserves justice. Her family deserves justice. And we need justice on a national level to prevent this type of thing from happening again.
The suspect and his brother had been arrested in New York City and at the border, but were released before customs agents could step in. The president heads to the border on Thursday to talk about the bipartisan immigration plan rejected by House Democrats. Today, the president has summoned congressional leaders to the White House, where they are going to discuss averting another government shutdown. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, time for the KSL In-Depth. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was reportedly close to being freed right before his death. Some of his associates say he was in the final talks of a prisoner swap.
ABC News correspondent Inez de la Cotera joins us live. What do we know about this prisoner swap, Inez?
Hey, good morning. Yes, it's really interesting. We heard from Navalny's team, specifically from a woman named Maria Pevchik, who is a close associate of Navalny's. She says that Navalny's team had agreed to exchange Navalny shortly before his murder. So this came on Telegram. She was writing on Telegram. She said Alexei was about to be exchanged for Putin's killer, Vadim Krasikov. This is someone who's being detained for murder in Berlin. She says the negotiations finally reached the final stage, and then Putin decided that since Krasikov was ready to be given, then he would be given without Navalny. Therefore, he decided to kill him. Navalny's team then went on to say that those talks had been underway and in closing stages as of February 15th. And then we learned of Navalny's death on February 16th. So lots of questions still. I will say the Kremlin is saying they don't know anything about this exchange. The State Department is also getting a lot of questions because there are reports, at least according to Navalny's team, that the talks involve the release of 2 U.S. citizens who are currently being wrongfully detained in Russia. So we're talking about Paul Whelan and Evan Gershkovich.
It does sound like there's a lot of skepticism over this story and not much to corroborate it. Do you see a scenario in which Putin would have actually let Navalny go?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We certainly know that Putin had, he had put Navalny in a penal colony. Navalny was, of course, Putin's main opposition leader, and Putin, has repeatedly cracked down on any kind of opposition and dissent. Lots of questions. Yeah, I mean, it's unclear that so the State Department, they're saying they got a bunch of questions on this yesterday. They say the U.S. government had made Russia an offer to secure the release of Whelan and Gershkovich. They didn't get into any details as to whether Navalny was part of these talks. Our reporter Shannon Crawford spoke to 2 officials who are familiar with the matter. They say there was no offer presented to Moscow involving the exchange of Navalny. But then one official did say that there had been that Navalny's name had been raised in conversations between the U.S. and Germany about a potential prisoner swap. Germany, because Vadim Krasikov is being detained in Germany, but that this was very much in the early stages, and it was still unclear whether Germany would even sign off on this. So yeah, lots of mixed messages. We're hearing one thing from Navalny's team, another thing from these officials. something else from the Kremlin, something else from the State Department. So again, yeah, still lots of questions here.
We'll follow it with your help, Inez. Thank you. Inez de la Cuetara with us on the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
I can only imagine what this is like for the families of Paul Whelan and Evan Gerskovich. Every time one of these stories surfaces, that there may be hope in getting their family members home.
Year after year after year. 519, we have an emergency traffic situation, it sounds like, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, it's a crash. I mean, there's plenty of issues this morning, but the biggest one's a crash on I-15 right before SR-92 in Lehigh. And a little bit north of 2100 North. They've forced everybody over to the right lanes. They've blocked off the left, too. They are at least letting traffic through now, but they keep doing intermittent backups, slowdowns in the backup where highway patrolmen will pull in and then start zigzagging to keep the traffic a little bit slower. So that's what you'll be facing in between Lehigh's Main Street and SR-92 this morning. We've already got a little bit of extra delay on Redwood Road, pretty slick in that part of Lehigh. And then down in Payson, between Santaquin and Payson, North 15 struggling right now as well. Heather?
Roads are not quite as slippery that we've seen in the Salt Lake Valley right now, but several ramps may have some ice on them as some of the snow plows may not have gotten through there yet. So you just need to be cautious on the wet roads on Mountain View Corridor, Bangalore Highway especially. If you're going into the higher elevations, Parley's Canyon is snow covered, especially at the summit and over toward Kimball Junction where snow is still falling. Eric.
You got some slowdowns out in Weber Canyon if you're westbound on I-84. That's from the Peterson Mountain Green area over to the mouth of the canyon. But once you're in the valley, it's just wet right now from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. That's a 30-minute drive on I-15 Legacy Parkway and the 215 westbound going by the airport looking okay. Big O Tires is your one-stop shop for tires and service. Now through March 17th, buy 3, get 1 free on select sets of tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has got a springtime roller coaster. 37 today, that's 20 cooler than yesterday, with a chance for snow showers this afternoon. 47 mostly sunny for tomorrow. 57 partly cloudy on Thursday. We top out at 60 degrees on Friday, partly cloudy skies and breezy out of the south. Saturday, rain, snow showers, cold front, 52 the high. We drop to 39 with snow showers on Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, cold, 37. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We're below freezing this morning. It's 30 degrees in the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
It's going to be a really interesting day on the Dave and Dujanovic Show. They are out and about. They're at the Fair Park, the Utah State Fair Park, right down the street from us on North Temple.
Yeah.
And they're there because it's in that neighborhood where they're talking about putting the Major League Baseball stadium.
Well, and that spot, you know, even if you had never seen a map on where they plan to put it, all you have to know is where those big 3 smokestacks are.
Yeah.
That marks the spot. Because that would be, standing out there as a landmark in left center field or right field, whatever it's going to be.
Right. And there's so many other side issues like, what about the audience that it will attract? And what about the effects on the Rose Park community and on the Fair Park itself?
Yeah. It's been an area, we talked about this yesterday, that has been sort of forgotten about. And I would think most people should be excited about any new development that comes there because it has kind of been left out of the growth of the valley.
We'll find out more later this morning on Dave and Dujanovic starting at 9.
And we'll also check money news coming up here in just a bit, so stay with us.
Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues, and all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Don't let someone else enjoy your refund. Save up to 25% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If there's a problem during your siding, gutter, or window installation project, most contractors will try to hide it, ignore it, or blame someone else. It's called passing the buck or turning a blind eye. or my favorite, finger pointing. My question is, where is the accountability? Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and look, sometimes problems just happen, no matter who you hire. Maybe the wrong color siding gets delivered, despite the order being placed perfectly, or maybe a downspout gets cut short. Honestly, it could be anything. At RGS Exteriors, mistakes are rare, but if something goes wrong, I can absolutely, positively, 100% guarantee you we'll never hide it, and we'll never pass the buck. We'll make certain everything turns out right for you. That's people over profits. That's the RGS Exteriors way. For a free estimate on siding, gutters, or windows, call 801-280-3110, rgsexteriors.com, rgsexteriors.com.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
We're watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Lay's is introducing a new flavor inspired by the Netflix show Love is Blind. A couple from the show created the flavor, sweet and spicy honey. Frito-Lay is also encouraging fans of the show and chips to enter their $1,000 date night giveaway.
Do we have to have it themed after a show? Can't they just come up with a flavor for us? It's funny. New York City Medical School, this is a great story, is going to be tuition free for all students from now on, thanks to a $1 billion donation from a former professor, the widow of a Wall Street investor. Ruth, I believe the last name is Gottsman, has been with the school for years and is the chairperson of its board of trustees. The announcement to the entire student body was
Can you imagine?
Really something.
Oh my gosh, telling medical students they don't have to pay tuition?
Yeah, starting in the fall. Wow. It's cost-free for you to get your medical degree.
What a gift.
Wow.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. Dow futures up just 15, a fraction. S&P up 6.5. The NASDAQ futures up 49.
They're starting to move that car that was blocking things off on the northbound side of I-15, American Fork, all the way to the point of the mountain. Pretty slick right now, but hopefully that's going to be improving. We'll check traffic and weather together next.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan, taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
It's emergency traffic and weather together here, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. That's still going to be slow and go for a while, Andy, on northbound I-15 in Lehigh, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a lot of vehicles wreck in that stretch between 2100 North and SR92 as you start to go up the hill towards Salt Lake County. Very icy, and so they've been moving vehicles as much from the left to the right as they can, so UHP keeps doing slowdowns of traffic. So even if the lanes are clear, you might be in backups as Highway Patrol works to get something moved further ahead out of the way. But right now, your slowdowns go from Lehigh Main Street all the way to Point of the Mountain. We've also got slowdowns further south, those of you traveling between Santaquin and Payson. Both directions are slow in Santaquin, but then northbound continues all the way up into Payson. Heather?
We're hearing reports of a big pothole on the 201 freeway westbound right near 3200 West. And it looks like a couple of cars may have hit that pothole and had flat tires because of it, so you might want to use caution. Roads are very wet in the Salt Lake Valley, and you're going to have snow in the higher elevations, like Big Cottonwood Canyon, where chains and four-wheel drive are required, and then Little Cottonwood Canyon is closed. Eric?
And through Parley's Canyon, you've got a lot of slowdowns as well because of road conditions. Eastbound and westbound, more on the eastbound side. That starts at the summit. Westbound, it's kind of a long stretch of slowing all the way from Kimball Junction out to the valley. If you're in Davis and Weber counties, it's okay southbound I-15 right now, heading from Ogden to downtown. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got snow today, although it'll taper off later today. A high of 37, and then we start to warm up. Look at this. We get all the way to 60 on Friday. Right now we have light snow and 30 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Getting more teachers into Utah classrooms is a priority for lawmakers, school districts, and parents.
But there is debate over the process of who should be allowed to teach. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston begins our live team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024. Peter?
Amanda, I'm currently looking at a map that shows where teacher shortages are the most severe across the country. And according to this study, Utah's in second place nationwide with just 44.2 teachers for every 1,000 students. So what's the solution? Here in Utah, Representative Norm Thurston wants to get rid of the assessment that checks how well a teacher can manage a class. His bill already has critics like Utah Education Association President Renee Pinckney, who tells the Salt Lake Tribune that this bill is a bad idea that could bring unqualified teachers to schools. The bill does look ready to become law this week, though. We'll be posting more info on the bill and teacher shortage map on KSL News Radio this morning. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A bill dealing with water-wise landscaping is close to reaching the governor's desk. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our live team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024. Adam?
Tim, the bill would set up an incentive program specifically for new residential developments that choose to use less water for their landscapes. Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Joel Ferry says saving water is the best way to go in our situation.
It's less disruptive. It saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of effort, and is a better way to perform these tasks.
Now, the bill would set up these incentives for projects specifically so far, at least within the Great Salt Lake Basin, which could in turn benefit the Great Salt Lake by saving more water for it. The bill has been substituted, so we know it needs to pass the House, but it could end up having to go back to the Senate before it reaches the governor's desk by Friday. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Veterans exposed to toxins and other hazards during service will no longer have to wait years for VA healthcare coverage.
Veterans Affairs says this is the biggest expansion of VA healthcare ever. Terrence Hayes, the VA's press secretary and a veteran of the war in Iraq, explains.
It impacts veterans of the Vietnam War, of the Gulf War, Afghanistan, again, Iraq, and all those global war on terror conflicts to come into our system and get the care that they have earned.
The PACT Act had veterans waiting to be eligible for the plan for up to 8 years, but the Biden administration eliminated that. Hayes urges all veterans in Utah to sign up starting on March 5th at the Salt Lake VA Hospital or at va.gov. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Checking the air quality and detecting wildfires could be improved with the help of a new black carbon sensor. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has more now on a U of U study.
Black carbon is produced by diesel exhaust and wood smoke. Dr. Daniel Mendoza, who worked on the study, says the new units they tested are more portable and affordable, but just as accurate as the older equipment.
We can now use this smaller piece of equipment, which is now more readily available. So communities can purchase it, can place it in an area of concern, for example, let's say a school, a rec center, a senior center, or a park.
Dr. Mendoza said this could alert the most vulnerable populations more quickly when the air quality is poor and smoke is in the air. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories now. An update this morning on the cyber attack on United Healthcare, causing problems for pharmacies all over the country.
With this latest attack, a pharmacy near Pittsburgh is using the honor system, giving patients their meds now and billing insurance later.
It's also risky. Are we actually going to get paid what we should get paid for that prescription?
Large pharmacy chains like Walgreens and CVS are reporting only a limited impact from this attack. It's the smaller pharmacies that have been most affected. Many have now switched to paper processing, which is causing delays and backlog.
ABC's Lina Moise says these types of cyber attacks are becoming more common, especially against healthcare companies.
Slow going down in Utah County this morning with your first look traffic. Andy's back.
And right now we've got the big delay right now well, there's some in Payson, but then there's a bigger backup in Lehigh as you try to get past several crashes where vehicles look like crashed into the median going up between Lehigh, Maine and SR 92. We've got issues in Parley's Canyon with snowy conditions. Little Cottonwood Canyon closed and really icy and slick on spots on the west side of Salt Lake County as well. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
2 months have passed since the Tooele Animal Shelter stopped taking in surrendered animals, but there's a way you can help. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit has more. Michael?
Amanda, one reason people have to abandon or surrender their pets in the first place is because they can't afford pet food. Now, fortunately for them, pet pantries, like the one found in Rough Haven and Salt Lake City, help get that to families who need it.
We had a woman come and she had brought several friends to be able to pick up food from Tooele.
Rough Haven's co-founder, Christina Pulsifer, says others have come from as far away as Logan. Now, if you want to help them, help at-risk pets, you can find an Amazon or Chewy wish list on Rough Haven's website.
We kind of say that by you supporting us, you're supporting a family just like yours.
Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Arguments are still being heard on whether Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes' calendar should be made public. Assistant Attorney General Vanessa Walsh says the case is about more than just transparency.
This case is not about secrecy, and it's not about keeping records from the public. It's about statutory interpretation.
A judge will rule on that case today.
The next generation of space exploration is taking shape right here in northern Utah.
3, 2, 1.
The first piece of the solid rocket boosters that will propel NASA's Artemis campaign to the moon and eventually to Mars is complete at Northrop Grumman's facility in Promontory, Utah. According to a release from the company, these new rocket boosters are capable of carrying nearly 5 metric tons more than the previous boosters. Part of the reason they can do that is because the casing is made of a weight-saving carbon fiber composite. A full test of these new boosters is scheduled for later this year. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
A bomb threat in Utah apparently was the result of someone being uninvited to a wedding.
A man was arrested near Moab last fall after claiming he planted bombs around a wedding venue. We're now learning that the man was hired to say that by the bride's estranged brother and brother-in-law. Police documents say it's because the bride uninvited her mother, and her mother promised her that if she wasn't invited, she would crash it and make her regret her decision. The brothers, Daniel Preston and Jeffrey Hack, are being charged with 2 counts of criminal conspiracy. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
You sure you want to marry into this family?
That was my very first question, actually.
Okay. We have reduced speeds this morning in Parley's Canyon, and northbound I-15 in Lehigh is rough as well. We'll check it just ahead.
Spend time with KSL News Radio and get a deeper understanding of the world around us.
I do listen to KSL so much because you've got voices like Boyd Matheson.
I listen to him every day.
You can trust him.
Inside Sources, weekdays 1 to 3.
On KSL News Radio.
This is Trent Reed with Ryan Valuation, formerly Economics Partners. We built one of the premier valuation firms in the country, then were acquired by Ryan Tax, for a great valuation, by the way. Now, as Ryan Valuation, we're the same top valuation practice with the resources of a global firm. Love him or hate him, or anything in between, if Trump had hired us, he wouldn't have New York claiming he owes them $354 million. I'm half kidding, but in all seriousness, there is no better team to hire for your valuation needs than my team. Whether you're an attorney needing help with litigation over a valuation matter, a business owner or executive needing your company valued for tax, financial reporting, or strategic reasons, a private equity partner needing valuation of your portfolio, or an accountant with a client needing a valuation, Ryan Valuation is the right call. We're headquartered here in Utah, but do our work nationwide. To hire the best, email us at valuations@ryan.com. That's valuations@ryan.com.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This debate on Capitol Hill this week about who should be allowed to teach is an interesting one.
It is.
And you were making the point in our meeting this morning, you know, you may have the knowledge to do it, but do you have the skills in the classroom to actually teach?
Yeah. I didn't understand that distinction until I substitute taught, and man, was I missing a lot of skill that I think is taught to teachers as they go through the teacher preparation program.
Yeah. This is part of our Eye on the Hill 2024 coverage this morning, and we'll be checking back in with Peter Johnston coming up.
5:39 now. We have emergency traffic this morning brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Amanda, the big delay is trying to get through Lehigh this morning. It's super slick in that area. We've had multiple crashes, and Highway Patrol continues to do these controlled slowdowns where every so often they'll just pull out and zigzag and keep traffic behind them. So that's between Lehigh Main Street and Point of the Mountain. Be ready for that delay. Some people are taking Redwood Road, and we're beginning to see some delay near Camp Williams. Further south in Utah County, you're going to see slow spots in between Payson and Santaquin, and it's really slick in Spanish Fort Canyon as well, just a heads up. Heather?
Well, the roads in the Salt Lake Valley are mostly wet right now, but some of them could be icy and slushy, especially if you're looking at portions of Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway. So far, we haven't heard of any crashes in the valley yet, so that's the good news. Now, if you go into higher elevations, that little bit of rain has turned to snow. In fact, it is still snowing on the east side of the Salt Lake Valley on the I-215 corridor, as well as through Parley's Canyon, especially near the summit. And Big Cottonwood Canyon still requires chains or four-wheel drive. Eric?
Southbound on I-15 from Ogden down through Roy to the eventually down to Farmington, Centerville, on all the way to downtown is looking okay this morning. You do have wet roads, but no delay. Same is true if you're coming out of South Ogden on 89, or if you're on Legacy Parkway or the 215 westbound going by the freeway. With fresh snow comes fresh tracks at Murdoch Hyundai. Right now receive 0% for 3 years on the Tucson or Santa Fe. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's our first time in a while seeing a high of 37 today. It'll feel more winter-like with a chance for snow showers. Overnight, clearing out, we'll go 24 for an overnight low. 47 tomorrow, mostly sunny. We pop back to 57 on Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 32 downtown.
It's sort of like a CES, you know, the Consumer Electronics Show,
Yeah.
on a world scale. It's called the Mobile World Congress.
Oh, wow.
And it just happened, I guess, or is happening still in Barcelona. Mike Dubusky joins us to tell us all about it coming up.
Must be Tech Tuesday. Looking forward to talking with Mike in a minute. Remember, you'll find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When Cynthia came to TurboTax, she had just launched her new side gig, a true crime podcast.
I'm a first-rate detective with a golden voice.
As her TurboTax expert, I made her second income count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and her maximum refund.
What did she do with that refund? Find out next week.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
When was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing in all sorts of nasty dirt, dander, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero-Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their February special. Don't think vacuuming or DIYing will suffice. Call the pros. Zero-Res has over 7,400 Google reviews with a 4.8 rating. This month, it's $33 per room cleaned, plus a fourth room free with promo code 4FREE24. And don't forget about your air ducts. Take $50 off your air duct cleaning with promo code CLEAN-AIR. Call Zero-Res, 866-ZERO-RES, or online at zerores.com and say you want the KSL special. Zero-Res. Spelled backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
KSL News Time, 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a skier is recovering after an avalanche partly buried her at Big Cottonwood Canyon. From KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, University of Utah researchers hope new air quality sensors can also give early warnings about newly detected wildfire smoke.
Third, a look at traffic and weather together.
Well, a lot of issues with the snow this morning, especially I-15. Lehigh to point of the mountain slick, multiple crashes, and Highway Patrol doing a bunch of different slowdowns to try to help move crashes from one side of the freeway to the other. We've also got apparently a semi-blocking lanes on I-80 near Parley Summit now. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 today with snow showers, and then we're warming. I'm Matt Johnson.
32 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time now for a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden telling Late Night with Seth Meyers that Israel has agreed to pause its offensive during Ramadan, which starts the weekend after next. ABC's Tom Sophie Burridge is in Tel Aviv.
What we've had in the last couple of days is a framework agreement which Israel, an Israeli official telling ABC News, that framework would see roughly 40 hostages being released, maybe the elderly, the sick, possibly female Israeli soldiers. In return, Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. And according to this official, the IDF might redeploy its troops to different parts of the Gaza Strip, but it would not withdraw its forces completely from Gaza.
There is a meeting today at the White House among the top 4 congressional leaders, President Biden pressing them to act quickly to avoid a looming government shutdown. Wild weather across much of the country. A lot of heat waves set. 94 degrees in Dallas, 88 in Oklahoma City. This is ABC News.
All right, let's go in depth here. The Mobile World Congress is taking place in Barcelona this week, featuring several new devices.
ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky joins us live. So I was reading, Mike, that you got to try on one of those new Apple headsets, the Vision Pro. What was that like?
Yeah, that's right. So this is something that anybody can do. If you live near an Apple store, you can schedule a demonstration. It takes about half an hour to do that. The first 10 minutes of this demonstration are dedicated to solely making sure that this thing fits you, right? Sizing it to your head and making sure that the lenses play with your eyes nicely, right? Everybody's head is a different shape. People's bodies are different. I wear reading glasses, for instance, so they had to make sure that the lenses, the tiny screens in front of your eyes, made sense to your eyes, right? That you could see things more clearly. But the next 20 minutes are purely dedicated to making sure that this thing, works, right? That you understand this new form factor for a computer. Apple calls this thing a spatial computer, where instead of being confined to a screen like you are on a laptop, your programs, whether you're looking through photos or you're browsing the web, those windows kind of operate in space around you, right? You can put one in the kitchen, you can put one in the living room, and they'll stay there. Interestingly enough, you have to learn a whole new sort of slew of inputs, right? So tapping your index finger and your thumb together, that's a click. You hold them together to scroll or to move something. Your eyes, what you're looking at, are the cursor. So you kind of look at a button to select it, and that's how that works. They also say that you can augment this, make it a little bit easier with voice controls and that sort of thing. But it does take a little bit of time to get used to, and I think that's why you're seeing Apple really go hard on these demonstrations. VR is a very hard thing to share with people. It's a hard thing to describe to people because it is such an isolating and solitary experience. So there is some pressure on Apple here to get people in the store, to get this thing on their heads for them to try it on and see what they think of it. But I will say there were some moments that were very impressive with this piece of technology. We watched a little bit of Avatar 2, a very, kind of visually stunning movie, and I just involuntarily sat back in my chair like I was in a movie theater. So some things really do work, but again, there are some big hurdles here. It's $3,500. It's a really expensive device, and it's heavy. Even without a battery pack built into it, there's an external battery pack that you keep in your pocket when you're wearing this thing. I still felt the weight of the goggles as I was walking out of the store. So you can imagine if that was what I felt after 20 minutes or so, wearing these things for about an hour or two, it might wear on some people after a time.
Yeah, I've heard that's kind of off-putting, and most people would be sitting there for longer than 20 minutes for sure. We're out of time, Mike, but thanks for your report on that one.
Love that.
ABC News technology reporter Mike Dubusky joining us.
And it's isolating, he said, which is what the reason I've always had, a little pushback against it in my thinking is that do we need something that isolates us more, even if it is fun for a few minutes?
I just don't think you're going to put that genie back
Probably
in the bottle.
Not. That's the In-Depth at 15 and 45.
All right. Sounds like we're still in emergency mode here with traffic and weather together at 5:49. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. It does look like it's improving in Lehigh anyway, Andy.
Well, that's only because they've stopped all the traffic and nobody's going by. And that's what they keep doing is they keep doing these controlled slowdowns. And that's what we're facing right now. Traffic's at a kind of a halt between Lehigh, Maine, and it doesn't quite get to 2100 North before you're stuck behind the highway patrol. Some people who are getting on the freeway at 2100 North are still able to do so, but we've got multiple crashes going up towards Point of the Mountain. Slick conditions along SR 92 as well between 1200 East and the freeway. We think it looks like things are improving a little bit more between Santaquin and Payson, but if you're going to go into Spanish Fort Canyon, snowy conditions get worse the higher up you go in the elevation. Heather?
Same story up in the Salt Lake Valley heading into Park City. Snowy road conditions, especially on I-80. One of our KSL traffic tipsters let us know it's really rough going trying to get to Park City, and right at the summit there's a semi truck that crashed, blocking 2 left lanes, only 1 right lane getting through, so that is backing traffic up several miles right now in the canyon. And then we have a crash in Cottonwood Heights. This is at the intersection of 2300 East Fort Union Boulevard. A car is plowed into a light pole, and so you have some lanes blocked in the area. Eric?
I-15 in Davis and Weber counties right now, moving pretty decently southbound from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. That's a 30-minute drive out in Weber Canyon. Things do seem to be improving. We did have a slowdown stretch between Mountain Green and the mouth of the canyon. Now all the slowdowns are going to be eastbound after you go past Morgan. Need a perfect event venue? There's a place. This is the place. Heritage Park. Ideal for weddings, events, featuring 11 venues, beautiful grounds, affordability for any celebration. Call or visit thisistheplace.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has a wide range of temperatures over the next 7. We'll start at 37 for a daytime high today. Chance for snow showers. 47, mostly sunny for your Wednesday. Thursday, 57, back to 60 degrees, breezy out of the south, and partly cloudy on Friday. Saturday, cold front, rain, snow showers, 52. Snow showers on Sunday, back to 39. We're mid-30s on Monday, mostly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
32 degrees in the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
If cabinets were a football team, Euromax cabinets would be the 1985 Bears, maybe the 1984 Niners. If cabinets were a basketball team, Euromax would be the 95-96 Bulls, maybe the 2016-2017 Warriors. If cabinets were a singer, Euromax cabinets would be Neil Diamond, rhinestones, sequins, and all. In fact, Neil Diamond was probably thinking about Euromax cabinets when he wrote and recorded Sweet Caroline. Max and Mike came together to start a cabinet company that brings the unique flair and style of Europe while keeping the craftsmanship and installation of America. Max moved here from Ukraine with years of European style, while Mike has 25 years of cabinet experience here in Utah. This is Hans Olsen. letting you know their service, style, and warranties are unmatched. They can help you design a kitchen to be the talk of the neighborhood. Their showroom's in Pleasant Grove, and you can see their world-class design by going to EuromaxFurniture.com. That's EuromaxFurniture.com. Euromax, built for you.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027. Transform your outdated kitchen with half-price granite. Granite quartz, marble, and quartzite starting at $25 per square foot installed. Visit halfpricegranite.com. Affordable luxury.
Tired of living in your parents' basement or renting? You want to buy a home, but you were told that your debt-to-income ratio is too high. This is why you need a highly qualified mortgage lender. Rick at Loans by Rick has 22 years of experience and has helped hundreds of clients lower their debt-to-income so they can make the most important purchase of their lives and buy a home. As with any profession, there are different levels of mortgage lenders, so why not work with the best lender? One that can cut through the mortgage jungle and get you into a home. As interest rates come down, home values will go up, creating multiple offers which will raise home values higher. Don't wait to buy a home. Buy now. You can always refinance later and save hundreds of dollars. Let Loans by Rick guide you with your mortgage process. Call 801-809-SAVE or click loansbyrick.com. That's loansbyrick.com.
Rick Kirschenbaum, NMLS 241179, and Vintage Lending, NMLS 287106 are equal housing lenders. Some restrictions apply.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The markets are up a little bit today after a down close yesterday. The Dow is up 31, the S&P is up about 9, the NASDAQ on the plus side by 59.
Cougar Tracks is brought to you by Central Bank CB Vault, Utah's help center for startups and entrepreneurs. Visit cbutah.com. And here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
For the first time since 1971, BYU basketball will play a game at historic Allen Fieldhouse. BYU, who was dropped out of the AP Top 25 poll this week, gets the tall task of trying to take down the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas is led by head coach Bill Self, who has been the head man at KU since 2004. The Jayhawks have a home record of 313-17 since Self took over. BYU coach Mark Pope recognizes Self as one of the best coaches in all of college hoops.
You look down through this league and the coaches are just incredible. And certainly he's one of the best coaches, most successful coaches in the history of college basketball.
For in-depth coverage of BYU Kansas inside Allen Fieldhouse, download the KSL Sports app and listen to the broadcast here on KSL with tip-off at 6 and pregame coverage beginning at 5 o'clock. With Cougar Tracks from Lawrence, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Are you a startup, entrepreneur, or business owner looking for funding? Look no further than Central Bank's CB Vault, Utah's help center for startups and entrepreneurs. CB Vault understands the unique challenges faced by business owners. CB Vault is here to help you start, grow, or thrive with a dedicated help center for startups and entrepreneurs, providing personalized financial solutions, networking, and guidance for every step of the way. With a range of services tailored for startups and small businesses and expert financial advice to flexible loan options, CB Vault helps you get funding and allows you to keep your equity. Whether you're seeking funding, planning expansion, or navigating the financial landscape, CB Vault's team of experts is ready to assist you in turning your vision into reality. Don't let financial barriers hold you back. Central Bank's CB Vault is here to unlock your business potential. Visit CB Vault today at cbutah.com. Central Bank, voted best bank in Utah Valley. Strong, local, secure. Since 1891. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Les Olson IT is now a Rico Graphic Arts and Production Systems dealer. Rico chose Les Olson because of our reputation for superior service and national recognition. Les Olson IT chose Rico Graphics because they're the best value compared to other commercial-grade printers. Rico excels in high volume, high speed, high resolution, and offers an exciting 5th color. Learn more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio. 5:59 emergency traffic and weather brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, North 15 right now just at a complete stop in Lehigh, starting around Lehigh Main Street all the way up to 2100 North. They've stopped the traffic a little bit after the 2100 North exit at the moment. I'm assuming it's to work on things a little bit further up north where we've had multiple crashes near the SR92 exit. But slowdowns are really bad along SR92 coming down the hill towards the freeway. We've got issues on I-15. The further south you go now between Santaquin and Nephi, it's getting a lot worse road condition-wise. And going into Spanish Fort Canyon, once you get up by the Highway 89 split, that's where visibility starts to drop a bunch. Heather?
Snow continues to fall in the higher elevations, especially of Parley's Canyon. It's very rough going, low visibility, and a semi-truck has crashed eastbound I-80 right at the summit, blocking 2 left lanes of travel, only 1 right lane getting through there. Chains or 4-wheel drive required for Big Cottonwood Canyon, Little Cottonwood Canyon closed for avalanche control. And then we haven't had any accidents reported in the Salt Lake Valley, but roads are very wet, and some of them are slick and icy. Eric?
I-15 looks fine as far as your normal travel time. You've still got it southbound from Ogden on 15 through Weber and Davis counties all the way to downtown Salt Lake. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit SuperiorWaterandAir.com. Superior Water and Air, we got this. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 for a high today. We're not far from it. It's 32 now in Salt Lake City to start your morning.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Winter weather has left its mark on the morning drive, but things are going to clear out as we work through the day.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, unfortunately, we're not completely out of the woods yet. Well, most of the snow is currently around scattered around the mountains, according to the KSL Vortex. We are still seeing some in the Salt Lake Valley and in Tooele. And obviously, we've seen a lot of problems around Point of the Mountain this morning. National Weather Service lead meteorologist Christine Cruz, though, tells me as we work through the day, dry air will keep moving in, putting an end to most of the valley snow. Mountain snow expected to continue through this afternoon. Things will clear out all the way until Saturday. We've got another storm coming through.
Snow beginning on Saturday and a strong cold front crossing the area, bringing the potential for another round of valley snow on Sunday. So another preview of spring going into another return to winter.
High is expected to reach the 60s by Friday, but we're back in the 30s following this weekend storm. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
By the way, we will check back in with Andy coming up here in a minute. We see all of you sitting in that situation on northbound I-15 in Lehigh right now. A skier is recovering in the hospital after getting buried and rescued from an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston has the details live. Peter?
Tim, 3 skiers made it out of the avalanche on their skis, but one of them was less lucky.
It actually partly buried one of the skiers.
That's Craig Gordon from the Utah Avalanche Center.
That resulted in some fairly robust injuries.
The Unified Police Department has confirmed to KSL that the skier made it out of the snow via Department of Public Safety helicopter. But Gordon says this is a warning about today's unique risks on the slopes.
The avalanche danger in the backcountry has bumped up to a level 3. That's a considerable avalanche danger.
Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A snowboarder says he was scared for his life when he encountered a homeowner near the Brighton Resort with a gun. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
That snowboarder Lauren Richardson says he didn't know he was on private property when a turn took him down a private driveway he thought was a road. Lauren tells KSL 5 the property owner pointed the gun at him, but Brighton Mayor Dan Knoop says the man did not point the gun directly at Richardson, and if he had, there would have been a problem.
You can't point it at somebody
That's brandishing. He did not point it at somebody. He did push the guy.
The mayor says officers have been up to talk to the man. Police say Richardson is not pressing charges, so there's no investigation, but wants the ski resort to post more signage warning snowboarders to avoid trespassing on private property. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The snow's piling up in the mountains this morning, but spring break is on the minds of many. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live. Michael?
Tim, when it comes to what you can expect for this upcoming spring break period, you'll recall Salt Lake International Airport saw nearly 27 million passengers pass through during last year's spring break. It was a record breaker, and AAA is expecting a similar number this year. It's all part of a rise in travel in the post-pandemic world, and here in the States, we'll see a lot of it around our neck of the woods. You can expect to see many travelers on the way to Arizona, California, and Nevada. And to give you a bit of a timeline, spring break for Utah's colleges begin as early as next week. The K-12 grades will get off later on in March and April. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
One thing people will watch closely as we get closer to spring break is gas prices.
In the past week, the price of regular unleaded has gone down 2 cents to $3.25 a gallon, according to new data from the Energy Department. But analysts say more rising prices will be coming as we near spring and summer when travel demand picks up. Plus, more areas of the country will be switching to expensive summer blends of gas in the coming weeks.
ABC's Alex Stone says other factors impacting prices include an Indiana refinery that had problems a few weeks ago and attacks on tankers in the Red Sea.
We got an emergency traffic situation. So first look traffic here, Andy. That there is no movement. I was going to say the movement isn't much, but there isn't any at the moment.
Well, we had multiple crashes on very slick conditions. If you've ever driven Lehigh in storms and temperatures like this, it's really slick going up that hill towards SR92 in Salt Lake County, and that's where our backups are. In fact, traffic hasn't moved between Lehigh Main Street and 2100 North in a little bit now. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing around the crash. If they're trying to get sometimes they try to get plows on the freeway to either throw down some salt or move, try to melt some of the ice. But at the moment, traffic's not moving between Lehigh Main and 2100 North. Some people are going up Redwood, and that's actually an okay alternate right now. A lot of slowing along SR92 between 1200 East and the freeway. So this is our worst point, but it's not the only issue that we've got. We'll tell you more about it in the full traffic report. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national story now. The polls are open in Michigan this morning for the state's primary election.
Donald Trump has barely campaigned here, but he's expected to once again cruise to victory over his final opponent, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Haley vowing to stay in through Super Tuesday, arguing that nearly half of Republican primary voters are against Trump.
ABC's Mary Bruce says only some of the GOP delegates will be decided in today's vote. The rest will be decided at convention.
BYU men's basketball team sits just outside the top 25, and tonight they have a big task of facing the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks in the historic Allen Fieldhouse. Pregame here on KSL starts at 5. That means the tip coming your way at 6 o'clock.
The bankruptcy rate for NBA players is 6 times higher than the regular population. But KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson tells us Utah Jazz players do much better.
Oddspedia.com ranked teams with players who have filed for bankruptcy or even had financial hardship. The Jazz is one of 8 NBA teams to not have any current or former players fit into those categories.
The report says the Celtics, Nets, and Bulls are the teams most likely to have players that file for bankruptcy. After making all that money, that's just tragic.
Yeah. Northbound I-15, just a mess. It's at a standstill several times this morning as a couple of wrecks get sorted out. We'll check your traffic and weather together next.
Bigger stories demand more accountability, more experience, more trust.
If it's like an election day or we're expecting some bad weather, KSL presents the story. Unbiased. It's a good local source.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Are you tired of yo-yo dieting? Are you thinking about trying the latest fad prescription drug with their long list of possible serious side effects? Most people don't realize that while you may lose weight, it's just temporarily suppressing your hunger, so as soon as you get off the drug, your frustration and your weight could come right back to haunt you. At slcfatloss.com, we know the secret to quick weight loss and, most importantly, safe and lasting weight loss. Our program has helped over 40,000 clients across the country break the weight loss code. Gone are the starvation Nutrition Diet Plans. Our program is healthy weight loss, using real whole foods and proprietary strategies to help guide our clients through their successful weight loss with a roadmap to keep the weight off long term.
This is Dave Noriega, and if you're done with those achy joints from carrying around that stubborn extra weight, do what I did and find out the secret to losing up to a pound per day with 20 to 30 pounds gone in a month or two. Schedule your free consultation in person or virtually at slcfatloss.com. slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
KSL News Time 6:09. Let's get right to the traffic here with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Boy, that's a mess. Looks like it's going to be for a while, Andy, down in Utah County.
Yeah, north end of Lehigh going up towards SR 92. Multiple crashes. At the moment, UHP has stopped all traffic just before that 2100 north exit. So nobody getting by there. However, people are still getting on the freeway at 2100 north. And then they're able to go up. So I'm not exactly sure why they're stopping the traffic prior to 2100 north without blocking that on-ramp as well. Nevertheless, that is the delay, and traffic is at a stop all the way back to Lehigh's Main Street. So some people are exiting off and working their way west or taking city streets to go up and get on at the next exit north. Heather?
We don't have a lot of delay in the Salt Lake Valley, but we do have a crash in Cottonwood Heights, the intersection of Fort Union Boulevard, 2300 East. Multiple directions of traffic are blocked in this one. A car ran into an electric pole, so they're having to check things out there. Now, Parley's Canyon, we've also had a crash eastbound right at the summit. A semi-truck has crashed or jackknifed and is blocking 2 left lanes of travel, only 1 right lane getting through there. You have snow completely covering the roadway up in Parley's, and Little Cottonwood Canyon closed until about 8:30 this morning for avalanche control. Eric.
You're heading out of Ogden this morning, southbound I-15 looking all right. You do have wet roads, of course, but normal movement, 30 minutes from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. Out the south end of Hill Air Force Base at the south gate, we do have a little bit of congestion there, but nothing major compared to some days. Don't let tax problems ruin your life. Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox handle the IRS so you don't have to. Visit TaxHelpUT.com. That's TaxHelpUT.com. Eric Butler in KSL Traffic Center.
It's the season of spring swings. Last night's cold front will drop us to 37 for a high today. Chance for snow showers. 24 overnight tonight. We'll go 47 and mostly sunny tomorrow. High pressure building, 57. Partly cloudy on Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right on the freezing mark this morning. It's 32 degrees.
I'm reading that pedestrian deaths have declined, even though they're still above pre-pandemic levels. Boy, it seems like we've had
a rash.
A rash here. But we're going to talk more about that with Jim Ryan just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us, and remember, you'll always find us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
You know, sometimes you just have to say, that's it. No more procrastinating. I mean, we get to live once, and I want my life to be as healthy as possible. I want to be as active and feel good, doggone it. I just want to feel good. And if that means you need to lose some weight, you're not alone. Good heavens. I lost, like around 50 pounds several times in my life. But now I've lost it for good because I lost 34 pounds on the SOTA weight loss program. SOTA stands for state of the art. And if it's just time, doggone it, go to sotaweightloss.com.
Well, and here's the thing. This is not a diet. It's a whole different approach to weight loss and maintaining the weight loss because their goal is the same as yours. My daughter lost 42 pounds. You've heard Andy talk about his
Andy
success.
Looks so great.
Boyd Matheson has had great weight loss and success. It's because of that extra little oomph you get from a personal friend.
That you get to have the rest of your life.
A nutritionist. Even after you reach your goal weight, you stay on the maintenance program for as long as it takes. Find out about this great program. Go to sotaweightloss.com, spelled SOTA, and it stands for State of the
Art.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And did you know that we get a bunch of service calls per year from people who didn't even hire us? That means they originally hired someone else to replace their siding, gutters, and windows. Then later, when a problem popped up, they tried to call their contractor back to fix it, only to find out that the contractor has ceased to exist. They're gone, done, out of business. At RGS Exteriors, we've been serving Utah for 70 years. As a fifth-generation owned contractor, we've got customers who are the grandkids of our customers we had in the 1950s and 60s. We're not going anywhere. We will be here when you need us, period. For siding, gutters, and windows, now and forever, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit at rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
This is Trent Reed with Ryan Valuation, formerly Economics Partners. We built one of the premier valuation firms in the country, then were acquired by Ryan Tax, for a great valuation, by the way. Now, as Ryan Valuation, we're the same top valuation practice with the resources of a global firm. Love him or hate him, or anything in between, if Trump had hired us, he wouldn't have New York claiming he owes them $354 million. I'm half kidding, but in all seriousness, there is no better team to hire for your valuation needs than my team. Whether you're an attorney needing help with litigation over a valuation matter, a business owner or executive needing your company valued for tax, financial reporting, or strategic reasons, a private equity partner needing valuation of your portfolio, or an accountant with a client needing a valuation, Ryan Valuation is the right call. We're headquartered here in Utah, but do our work nationwide. To hire the best, email us at valuations@ryan.com. That's valuations@ryan.com.
KSL News Time, 6:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
snow expected to taper off in the valleys as we work through the day, but mountain and canyon snow could hang around a little bit longer. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a video of a snowboarder is going viral after he was confronted by a man with a gun near Brighton.
Third, let's get the latest on traffic and weather together.
Well, they're starting to move the traffic a little bit north now on I-15 Lehigh near 2100 North, as opposed to being stopped for the last 10 minutes. But backups go all the way to Lehigh's Main Street exit right now, so a couple of miles of wait time. And they're only going at like 3 or 4 miles an hour, so not that fast. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
20 degrees colder today with a chance for snow showers. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 32 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's check our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Another primary election day, this time in the state of Michigan. ABC Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is in Dearborn, just outside Detroit, where there's a significant number of Arab American voters.
This critical state has swung between Joe Biden and Donald Trump in the last elections and will be a must-win for both candidates in November. Now, Donald Trump is expected to win the Republican primary here today. Joe Biden will win the Democratic, but voters here furious and frustrated over his handling of the war in Gaza. They are hoping to get 10,000 uncommitted votes. That's the margin by which Donald Trump won this state in 2016. And they're hoping if they can achieve that it will send the president a message and show him he can't take these voters and their concerns for granted.
On Late Night with Seth Meyers, President Biden says he is optimistic about a ceasefire in Gaza, especially with Ramadan coming up. The president also discussing with Myers the bipartisan immigration bill that former President Donald Trump urged House Republicans to vote against.
The idea that he said the Congress wants to pass an overwhelmingly a border provision that would allow us to control the border. First bill ever introduced called for that. And here he's saying, no, don't do that because that'll help Biden.
Biden and Trump both head to the border on Thursday. Trump to Eagle Pass, the president to Brownsville, Texas.
Let's go in depth now. 29 states saw a decrease in the amount of fatal pedestrian crashes, but they're still above pre-pandemic numbers.
Joining us live is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. We're particularly interested in this, Jim, because we've had what feels like a more than average number of fatal pedestrian crashes here in Utah, but you say it's going down around the country.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Down slightly at least in the first 6 months of last year, and that's the latest number that the National Governors Highway Safety Association has. Utah, by the way, yeah, it may seem like you have more of these fatalities happening, pedestrian fatalities. The number's actually gone down by about 45%. Of course, that means that the difference between 31 and 17 1 year to the next year. So the hard numbers are still there, a couple of dozen, but the percentage has dropped off quite dramatically for Utah. Nationally, the number's down about 4%. But if you go back to 2019, that's when we started to see these numbers rising. And yes, the pandemic gets the blame because of that, Amanda, because police departments were suddenly not enforcing speeding violations or enforcing traffic in general. They had other priorities at that point. And that's when we started to see these numbers rise. You also have distracted drivers and distracted pedestrians, people with earbuds in or standing there watching their phones or not paying attention either at the wheel or on foot. And that's contributing to these numbers as well.
Boy, when you break it down, an average of 18 deaths every day across the U.S., are they calling for more a tightening of the rules when it comes to being distracted?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what this group is about, the Governors Highway Safety Association. They lobby for various changes. They're lobbying for more pedestrian sidewalks in places that don't have them, crosswalks, and yes, restrictor laws against distracted driving. And they're trying to issue public awareness campaigns that would have pedestrians being more careful out there as well, Tim. So it's kind of a multifaceted approach that this group is taking to bringing down some of these numbers.
Does this report tell us at all whether it was distracted driver or distracted pedestrian that leads to these crashes? And I don't ask to put blame. I'm just curious as to what's causing it.
Yes. Well, it doesn't break it down that specifically as to who's responsible, either the pedestrian or the driver, especially with these distracted driving incidents. But it takes a broader look at this. The highways are meant for fast-moving cars and trucks. They're not meant for people to be crossing or to be walking alongside. That's part of it. But there is this infrastructure issue across the country, Meta. Places that need sidewalks, crosswalks, they need traffic lights in place to try to reduce the numbers. But instead of placing blame, I think this group is trying to take a holistic approach to bringing down the numbers overall.
All right, Jim, thanks for your reporting on this. That is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Was it just yesterday or was it the end of last week we had a couple of bicycle incidents where people were hit, and they were simply making the point that just because the light turns green for you or the walk sign comes on, you still need to stop and pause and look and make sure that those drivers are not going to try and race through that crosswalk.
Right.
So you need to do a double check out there. But be safe. That's our in-depth this morning.
Let's get a look at emergency traffic now, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Still looks terrible in Lehigh.
And it is. You're moving about 5 miles an hour, but that is progress. Unfortunately, the delays are stacking up even worse. In fact, if you go north of Lehigh, of American Forks Main Street Pioneer Crossing, you're going to get caught in the delays. Some people are exiting at Lehigh Main Street. If you don't exit at Lehigh Main Street, then you're locked in all the way up to the front end of this backup, which is up near 2100 North Lehigh. A lot of slowdowns is still coming down from Highland Alpine to the freeway as well along Timpanogos Highway. Not as much along Redwood Road. So if you live in Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs, I would take Redwood maybe all the way up into the Salt Lake Valley. Heather?
We're starting to see a bit more traffic on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley, especially on Bangerter Highway and Mountain View Corridor. And some patches of those roads are still a bit slick and slushy, so you definitely want to slow down your speeds. We're seeing the slowest traffic on Bangerter northbound between Harriman all the way up into West Jordan. And then if you're trying to get into Park City this morning on I-80 or into Salt Lake from Park City, Parley's Canyon is very snow-covered. Snow is still falling, and if you're eastbound, a semi-truck crash blocking 2 left lanes of travel right at the summit. Only 1 right lane getting through there. Eric.
North of downtown Salt Lake, it's not as bad as far as accidents and delays. We do have 1 southbound crash if you're out in Box Elder County approaching the North Ogden area. This is off against the left shoulder. But the rest of the way from Ogden all the way to downtown is looking good right now as far as your pace. And US 189, not bad as well if you're coming out from I-84 and heading down through Layton and Fruit Heights down to the Farmington area. Call 866-0-RESIDENT. Say you want the KSL KSL special. $33 per room cleaned and $50 off air duct cleaning. Zero res. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has got a springtime roller coaster. 37 today. That's 20 cooler than yesterday, with a chance for snow showers this afternoon. 47, mostly sunny for tomorrow. 57, partly cloudy on Thursday. We top out at 60 degrees on Friday, partly cloudy skies and breezy out of the south. Saturday, rain, snow showers, cold front, 52 the high. We drop to 39 with snow showers on Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, cold, 37. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Dry downtown, at least for the moment, 32 degrees in the 7-day forecast, brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Attention all bosses north of Lehigh. If you have employees who live in Utah County, they're going to be late.
Yes.
It's not their fault.
My gosh,
The
what a mess.
freeway is just stopped northbound on I-15 for miles and miles. The backup goes. So we'll stay on top of that for you here on KSL News Radio.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When Cynthia came to TurboTax, she had just launched her new side gig, a true crime podcast.
I'm a first-rate detective with a golden voice.
As her TurboTax expert, I made her second income count by guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and her maximum refund.
What did she do with that refund? Find out next week.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
If you're struggling with missing or broken teeth or painful dentures, you're not alone. Countless people face these challenges, but you don't have to suffer any longer. It's time to rediscover the confidence of a full, healthy smile with Stubbs Dental Implant Center, Utah's best of state winner. At Stubbs Dental, they understand how your missing teeth can hold you back in your career, social life, even in love. But it doesn't have to be that way. Their team of experts transforms lives with dental implants one smile at a time. Imagine what a new smile could do for you. Thousands have turned to Stubbs Dental for dental implants, gaining more than just teeth. They've regained their self-confidence. And the best part? Finding out if you're eligible for dental implants is easy. Visit StubbsDental.com. And in just 60 seconds, you could be on your way to a life-changing smile. Don't wait any longer to take the first step towards the life you deserve. Visit StubbsDental.com, StubbsDental.com today.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The Federal Trade Commission is suing to block a proposed merger between grocery giants Kroger and Albertsons. The FTC says the $24.6 billion deal would eliminate competition and lead to higher prices for millions of Americans.
Southern California Edison will pay $80 million to settle claims for their alleged connection to the massive wildfire that destroyed more than 1,000 homes and other structures in 2017. The utility agreed to the settlement without admitting wrongdoing or fault in connection with the Thomas fire.
Let's see, we're about an hour from the opening bell. The Dow futures off just 9, the S&P up 3, and the NASDAQ futures up 28.5.
Well, if you're northbound on I-15 in Utah County, it's a good idea to exit at Pioneer Crossing. Major delays. We'll see how it's moving or if it's moving at all. Next.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,024 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,024 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,024 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
It's emergency traffic and weather together here, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy, where do you start?
Well, we're going to start in Lehigh, which is where we've been having the biggest delay this morning. I-15, while it is moving, technically, it's not moving anything like a regular road. Highway Patrol's doing controlled traffic, keeping it at about 5 miles an hour. At this point, the delay is now starting to reach back past American Fork, Main Street, Pioneer Crossing. So your last chance to exit the freeway without any backups is at the 500 East exit in American Fork. You can still get off at Pioneer Crossing, but you'll have to wait in a little bit of delay. And then if you go past that, you're in huge backups. Still have traffic backed up coming down the hill from 1200 East to I-15 on SR 92 as well. And now I'm seeing some backups out in the ranches on SR 73, pretty thick out there. Heather?
We don't have the same type of problems in the Salt Lake Valley, but SR 111 looks like it's pretty snowy right now at the very, very south end of the Salt Lake Valley. This is west of Daybreak. And portions of Bangerter Highway have been a bit slick this morning, especially between South Jordan and West Jordan. If you're trying to get to Park City on I-80 eastbound, there's a semi that crashed, blocking 2 left lanes of travel right at the summit, only 1 right lane getting through there, and snow continues to fall the closer you get into Park City. Eric?
Do have some City Street slowing in Ogden. This is for westbounders as you go past 31st Street. This is just north of the Ogden-Hinckley Airport. If you're eastbound on 2550 south, this is in West Ogden, heading over to the freeway. You do have some slowing there as well. Once on the freeway, it looks okay from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake City. That's a 30-minute drive. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The snow should dissipate as we move into the afternoon. Tomorrow it'll clear out, 47 for a high tomorrow, up to 60 on Friday before another storm moves in on Saturday. Right now, downtown cloudy and 30 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 6:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Utah schools need more teachers, and the state legislature is trying to make it easier for people to get their teaching license.
But critics say this could lead to unqualified teachers in the classroom. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston begins our live team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024. Peter?
Amanda, State Representative Norm Thurston says that he wants to give more people the chance to teach.
You've got kids from disadvantaged backgrounds who would love to be teachers, but the idea of spending 5 years and getting your college degree, having debt that associated with that.
But educators are not all convinced that this bill is a good idea, especially because it removes a test currently used to measure classroom competence.
Well, the way you do that is with a valid and reliable assessment, and that assessment is a pedagogical performance assessment.
That's Travis Rawlings, Associate Director of Licensing and HR for Granite School District. Opposition aside, the bill has passed the House and looks like it's got a clear runway in the Senate. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
More Utah lawmakers are backing a bill to give incentives to developers for saving water. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our live team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024. Adam?
Tim, Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Joel Ferry says at the rate we're growing, we need to make sure we do it right.
We're going to grow by millions of people here on the Wasatch Front, and it's going to go down and it's going to impact all of our districts, not just the Wasatch Front, but the state. Millions and millions of people, and we're going to run out of water. We're going to run out of land if we're not smart about how we grow.
Now, this bill would provide incentives specifically for developers of new housing who choose to use water-wise grass turf on their properties or other water-saving alternatives that specifically save irrigation water. The bill would provide $1 million for the first year of the program, though it still needs to pass the House. Reporting live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Veterans exposed to toxins and other hazards of war used to have to wait years for access to VA health care. That wait ends March 5th.
Veterans Affairs announced the change thanks in part to President Biden's support by eliminating that long process, and will now offer veterans their health care service without waiting. The VA's press secretary, Terrence Hayes, is included among those veterans nationally, being part of the war in Iraq.
This impacts millions of veterans, many who may be challenged with some very difficult conditions as we speak. And to those veterans, I tell you, please take advantage of this opportunity.
Hayes said this is the biggest expansion of VA healthcare to date and hopes Utah's vets will visit the Salt Lake VA Hospital or their website on March 5th to sign up. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Researchers believe a new, more portable black carbon sensor could provide early warnings about wildfires and air quality. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson explains.
A new study from the University of Utah shows this smaller, portable black carbon sensor can identify particles just as accurately as older, larger units. The researchers concluded these newer models could be more accessible for communities to purchase and put in places like parks and schools, so the most vulnerable populations can have an early warning system when the air quality is bad.
Black carbon particles are produced by things like diesel and wildfire smoke, and health experts say it is hazardous for lung and heart health.
First look traffic. It's emergency traffic, Andy.
Yep, I-15 just at a complete standstill in some portions. Moving, but only at 5 miles an hour in other portions as you go from American Fork all the way to Point of the Mountain. All the crashes that kind of caused this in the first place are in Lehigh between 2100 North and SR 92. Just a heads up, we've got really rough traffic down by Nephi as well, including crashes and jackknife semis. If you're going to go that far south and through Parley's Canyon up near the summit, traffic at a halt. You start to go down the hill towards Park City. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Now a look at our top national stories this hour. We have an update on the United Healthcare cyber attack impacting pharmacies around the country. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
The attack crippled Change Healthcare's digital network, which is a part of United Healthcare. The company says it took immediate action to prevent further impact. Pharmacies use Change's network to verify insurance coverage.
And if you have a very expensive medication, you might be stuck in a position where you have to pay cash.
Initial reports said a foreign actor could be to blame for the cyber attack, but Reuters now reports the infamous ransomware gang Black Cat may be responsible.
This type of cyber attack is becoming more common. A ransomware attack nearly shut down a Chicago hospital's communication system earlier this month.
Some people in Tooele are looking for options after the city animal shelters stopped taking in surrendered animals. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Amanda, one of the reasons that pet owners, especially dog owners, surrender their pets in the first place is because the animal is unruly. But Michaela Belden with Belden House Canine in Tooele says a little bit of training can go a long way.
You know, if you're not able to afford training, you don't have time for training, there's other resources available.
Matter of fact, the Beldens offer one of those resources.
My husband and I, we do what's called a pack walk every Saturday at England Acres Park in Tooele at 11 a.m., and it's basically just a free training session.
Now, she says it only takes about 5 minutes to do a phone call to reach a trainer and help the family dog. That way you can prevent from having to surrender it in the first place. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Court arguments resumed today on whether the Utah Attorney General's calendar should be considered a public record. Attorney David Ryman shared his thoughts with KSL TV.
For more than a year now, the Attorney General has managed to drag this out with sort of morphing arguments in the hopes that it would become politically irrelevant. And we think the court should end that today.
Judge Patrick Coram will issue a ruling today.
A key part in the race to get people back on the moon and then to Mars is coming together right here in Utah. Details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Northrop Grumman has been making solid rocket boosters at their Promontory facility since the days of the space shuttle. Now, their new booster obsolescence and life extension, or BULL motors, are being prepared for NASA's Artemis campaign. The first booster segment was just completed at the facility. A test of a full booster is scheduled for later this year.
NASA plans to use the new boosters beginning with the Artemis 9 mission.
A bomb threat in Utah apparently was the result of someone being uninvited to a wedding.
3 people are in police custody after a man crashed a wedding and said he planted bombs around the Moab venue. We're now learning the motive behind it was the bride uninviting her mother. Police documents say she threatened her daughter and told her if she wasn't invited, she would crash it. The bride's estranged brother and brother-in-law are accused of hiring the man for her, paying him $400 and a new shirt to crash the wedding. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
That's all he got was a lousy shirt.
And they all lived happily ever after.
Coming up, man, we're so sorry about this. Northbound I-15 in Lehigh, backing all the way to where did he say American Fork, is just a mess. We're going to check it next on KSL.
Spend your workday with a talk show that makes you feel better about the news.
Dave and Dujanovic.
They have a good dynamic between the two of them.
Sometimes I'll take Dave's side and sometimes I'll take Debbie's side.
They're great.
Dave and Debbie, live from 9 to noon, or podcast the show on the app for KSL News Radio.
When was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it really deserves? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing in all sorts of nasty dirt, dander, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home with their February special. Don't think vacuuming or DIYing will suffice. Call the pros. Zero Res has over 7,400 Google reviews with a 4.8 rating. This month, it's $33 per room cleaned, plus a 4th room free with promo code 4FREE24. And don't forget about your air ducts. Take $50 off your air duct cleaning with promo code CLEAN-AIR. Call ZeroRes, 866-ZERO-RES, or online at ZeroRes.com and say you want the KSL special, ZeroRes. Spelled backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
American energy is under attack. Joe Biden has waged a war on American natural resources and made it harder to produce affordable, reliable, and clean energy right here in Utah. Our energy prices are already going up. Biden's policies will make it worse. But Republican John Curtis has our back. There is no greater supporter of unleashing American energy than John Curtis. John Curtis knows our abundant natural resources help keep us free and safe, powers our economy, keeps the lights on, and keeps Utah on the move. John Curtis is Utah tough. He's taken the fight to Joe Biden and the Washington politicians who all want to hurt American energy. And now we need a conservative to take the fight to the United States Senate. We need Republican John Curtis, a strong defender of American energy dominance in the fight for us.
Paid for by Clear Path Action Fund. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
6:39 emergency traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Amanda, traffic still looks like a parking lot on I-15 from American Fork, Pioneer Crossing, all the way up to SR 92 in Lehigh. And that's because of multiple crashes on very slick road conditions. Redwood Road, for now, still a pretty good alternate, but it really only will help people who live west of the freeway, more likely, or those of you who are coming up on the back end of the delays, and you can take Pioneer Crossing out to Redwood Road. Everybody else just going to have to find a different city street or be patient. Just keep a heads up if you're going to be traveling further south. We've got issues with traffic in both directions of the freeway between Mona and Nephi as well. Heather?
We don't have a lot of traffic on I-15 in the Salt Lake Valley, especially northbound, as it's all stuck in Utah County, so you have a fairly good drive on that roadway. If you're coming out of Tooele County, though, we're starting to see a bit of delay as you transition from SR 36 onto eastbound I-80 over toward the 201 freeway. And we have some slick spots on Mountain View Corridor and SR 111. Most of that is at the southwest side of Salt Lake Valley. Eric?
I-15, Legacy Parkway, and US 89 also all looking good if you're southbound through Weber and Davis counties this morning going by the airport. The West Belt also in good shape heading down to I-80. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit SuperiorWaterandAir.com. Superior Water and Air, we got this. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Courtesy of last night's cold front, we'll see a high of only 37 today with a chance for snow showers. Overnight, we'll dip off to 24, rather chilly. 47 tomorrow, mostly sunny, up to 57 by Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Temperatures down again. Cloudy downtown this hour, 30 degrees.
Coming up in just a moment, the folks in Michigan go to the polls today. We'll talk presidential primary just ahead.
Right now, though, it's time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
Every once in a while, I want to turn in my man card. Who do I give it to? Because I am so embarrassed for my gender after seeing this golf video on Instagram. Did you see this? This young woman is at the driving range in Liverpool, England. She's smacking the living daylights out of the ball. She's a professional golfer named Georgia Ball, certified PGA coach, and she has 170,000 followers on Instagram. So can we agree that she knows how to hit a golf ball? Good. So she's whacking away, and this guy comes up to her and starts mansplaining what's wrong with her swing. She doesn't know the guy, but he feels free to saunter up to her and explain that her swing is too slow.
You're doing too slow on the way up.
She explains pro golfers sometimes change up their swing, but to get the technique nailed down, they swing slow.
I'm going through a swing change at the minute, so...
He feels free to interfere with her day, mansplaining that he's been golfing for 20 years.
What you're doing there, you shouldn't be doing that.
And she says again, I'm going through a swing change.
I'm going through a swing change at the minute, so... With
Mr. Mansplain watching on, she decides to let one rip. She squared up her driver and smashed that ball so hard her mama felt it. And afterward, the guy says, "See how much better that was?" And he confidently walks away thinking he saved a damsel duffer in distress. He thinks he fixed her swing.
Keep doing that anyway, okay?
Thanks for your advice.
Now that I've turned in my man card, I can tell you that if I was that woman, I would have let loose with a string of farm words and used that driver as a deadly weapon. But I'm not her. She is, and handled it with the skill of a saint. And then she posted the incident and got 10 million views on TikTok, thus putting the man in his place. Fortunately for him, he's not seen in the video, only heard. So for the moment, he remains anonymous.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
I wonder where he got that story. I love that story.
It was nice of that guy to help with the swing, right?
Yeah. And of course, Jeff's Minute's brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox. IRS harassing you? The law offices of Jordan Wilcox can help. Visit taxhelput.com.
Back in 2004, got a letter from the IRS indicating that I was no longer married, and therefore they were to change my filing status to single.
We were really upset.
I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Listen to what actual clients have had to say about working with us.
As soon as we met Jordan and he started talking to us, number one, he made us feel like we weren't the imbeciles that the IRS had made us feel like for so many years.
I'm Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS tax nightmare.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Visit taxhelput.com or call 801-657-5951 to schedule your free consultation today.
We can move forward with confidence and assurance that we're okay.
That's taxhelput.com.
It's marvelous, just marvelous.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
teachers in training might not need to pass a classroom management test in Utah if a bill passes the Senate this week. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, snow today, but spring break is just around the corner, and many Utahns say they're anxious to take a road trip.
Third, let's check that drive, traffic and weather together.
Well, the plows are trying to work their way up through Lehigh right now. That's part of the reason for some of the heavy backup, but traffic is still moving hardly at all between American Fork and Lehigh. We've got issues in Parley's Canyon, starting to get worse on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley on city streets. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 today with snow showers, and then we're warming. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. It's Election Day in Michigan. Donald Trump and Joe Biden expected to easily win their primary contests, even though there is a protest vote against Biden in some Arab American communities over the situation in Gaza. Dual trips to the southern border by the man in the White House and the man who wants to occupy it again. Here's ABC Chief White House Correspondent Mary Bruce.
President Biden will be down on the border on Thursday, just his second visit as president. It comes, of course, as he has been slamming Republicans in Washington for failing to act on immigration and pass that bipartisan border deal. Donald Trump will also be down there. He, too, is eager to own this issue in the election. Joe Biden joking yesterday he didn't know his, quote, good friend would be down there, too. It is going to be some split screen.
It's a very weird ending weather-wise for the month of February. Numerous cities hitting new record-high temperatures this week, including Dallas, Oklahoma City, and Rockford, Illinois. That, as weather moves further east, could bring strong storms and maybe tornadoes. This is ABC News.
And as you heard just a moment ago, Michigan, it's your turn. They head to the polls today in the presidential primary.
We get the update from America in the Morning's Clayton Neville.
Voters in Michigan who haven't voted early or haven't cast a ballot by mail are headed to the polls today to vote in the presidential primary.
We need you to get out and vote to set the stage for November. Go vote.
Former President Donald Trump, the Republican frontrunner, and coming off a big victory over candidate Nikki Haley over the weekend in South Carolina.
We're going to win a monumental victory in the Michigan Republican primary.
Haley's been campaigning in Michigan ahead of the primary and seemingly hasn't slowed down since the loss in her home state.
We'll keep fighting for America, and we won't rest until America wins.
She's ramping up the rhetoric surrounding her opponent's ages, Biden over 80 years old and Trump close to it.
Don't you think it's finally time we had term limits in Washington, D.C.? Don't you think we need to have mental competency tests for anyone over the age of 75?
For Republicans in Michigan, the primary results will determine 16 of the state's 55 RNC delegates. The other 39 will be delegated at a state party convention on Saturday. For Democrats, it's pretty straightforward. 117 delegates up for grabs. It's a state Biden won in 2020, with the president getting pushback from residents who voted for him then, at least some of them. The group listened to Michigan, ramping up the pressure, calling for an end to America's support for Israel. It's also demanding a ceasefire in Gaza and threatening its support for the president this election year. I'm Clayton Neville.
We'll follow that, of course, and Super Tuesday next week here on KSL News Radio.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up for you tomorrow morning. 6:49, time for a look at the drive here with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Definitely still an emergency situation. And Andy, one of our texters, just 2 minutes ago said there's an accident in Santaquin. Is that a new one or?
We've had several. So they had one earlier this morning going from Santaquin to Payson, and there's still some delay there. We've got a bunch of stuff in Nephi as well on both sides of the freeway. But what's been affecting the most people for the longest right now has been this I-15 stretch from American Fork to Lehigh and up to Point of the Mountain. Plows are trying to improve conditions on the freeway, but because of that, and they're working all lanes at the same time, traffic is at a crawl behind them. And that, again, stretches past American Forks Main Street Pioneer Crossing. Heather?
Mountain View Corridor looks pretty slick right now. We don't see snow on the roadway, but it does look icy, and we're seeing slowdowns both northbound and southbound coming up from Draper all the way to the Kearns area at 5400 South, and southbounders are also seeing a bit of slowdown as well. Bangor Highway has a few portions that also look a bit icy, especially on the overpasses of 5400 South, 7800 South. You have a little bit of delay trying to get out of the Tooele County on I-80, but once you get onto the 201 freeway, that looks pretty good. And chains or four-wheel drive required for Big Cottonwood Canyon. Eric?
Out in Parley's Canyon, you've got slowdowns from the East Canyon area out towards Lambs Canyon and up to the top of Parley Summit if you're eastbound. If you're westbound, the length of delays is not quite as long, but you still have them going through Lambs Canyon. If you're up in Ogden, things are looking good as far as I-15 travel times. Southbound from there to downtown Salt Lake, that's a 30-minute drive. Escape the winter blues for blue skies and sunshine in Beatty, Nevada. Experience Death Valley National Park, canyon and desert trails for off-road hiking and biking, ghost towns, and more. BeattyNevada.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has a wide range of temperatures over the next 7. We'll start at 37 for a daytime high today. Chance for snow showers. 47, mostly sunny for your Wednesday. Thursday, 57, back to 60 degrees, breezy out of the south, and partly cloudy on Friday. Saturday, cold front, rain, snow showers, 52. Snow showers on Sunday, back to 39. We're mid-30s on Monday, mostly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it is 30 degrees. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Hope you had a chance to listen yesterday to our conversation with Senate President Adams. He sounded pretty confident that both bills for the baseball stadium and a new hockey stadium would make their way through the legislature, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And then we were on David Dujanovic. They were talking about they need another $1 billion for the gondola up Little Cottonwood. And then this morning I read they need another $800 million for a hospital in West Valley.
Yeah.
But, you know, we do take in a lot of tax money here in Utah. Our economy is strong.
Speaking of Dave and Debbie, they're going to be concentrating on that $1 billion ballpark, broadcasting live today out at the State Fair Park. That's the neighborhood where the new ballpark, if it is built, will actually take place. And we're talking about all kinds of things that have to happen around it in that community. So be listening 9 o'clock this morning to Dave and Debbie here on KSL.
Before my husband and I worked with the Stern team, I did something really easy that you can do. I just went to sternteam.com, and then I clicked on sell, and I typed in my address, and then like in 10 seconds, it told me this is a possible price that your house could get. And so you sort of had I had a ballpark idea of what I was working with my home. And then I started working with Cammie and Mandy and everybody else in their team there. And they walked us, that process has not been easy. And it isn't for anybody, but they make it as easy, as pain-free as possible.
Yeah. Here's the other thing we learned about the Stern team. As overwhelming as it can be, when you really dive down into the details of buying or selling a home, there's 100 different things you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And so you enlist the Stern team, and it's really emphasized on that word team, because they have so many people that think of all of those angles, and they don't just deal with you as a seller, they deal with other buyers. So they could have somebody standing by right now to buy your home.
I'm amazed at all of the little things, all the little potholes that I might have tripped into had it not been for and they'd say, oh, we're just protecting this, oh, we're protecting this. I really appreciated their expertise.
There's a reason why they sell so many more homes than the average real estate office in the state of Utah. Find out more, find out how they can help you. Go to sternteam.com.
Or just Google the Stern team.
Transform your old, outdated kitchen with Half Price Granite. For a limited time, Half Price Granite is offering special pricing starting at $25 per square foot installed. That's lower than most big box stores. These prices are some of the lowest around. Granite, quartz, marble, and quartzite, all starting at $25 per square foot installed. Call 801-486-1700 or visit halfpricegranite.com. Half Price Granite, affordable luxury.
Watching Utah's Money this morning is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com. Lay's is introducing a new flavor inspired by the Netflix show Love is Blind. A couple from the show created the flavor. They call it sweet and spicy honey. Frito-Lay is also encouraging fans of the show and chips to enter their $1,000 date night giveaway.
Sweet and spicy honey sounds sort of good.
It does, doesn't it?
Although anything sounds good right about now. A New York City medical school will be tuition-free for all students from now on, thanks to $1 billion donation from a former professor. How are they going to keep up with the applications to this medical school
I don't know.
if it's free? The former professor is the widow of a Wall Street investor. Ruth Gottsman has been with the school for years and is the chairperson of its board of trustees. $1 billion donation.
There's a video floating around of her making that announcement to the student body, and if you get a chance to see it, watch the reaction. You can only imagine. All right, it might cost you more to get a burger depending on what time of day it is. I hate this idea. Wendy's is going to start experimenting with a dynamic pricing system. Meals will be priced based on changing factors like how busy the location is, how in demand the item is, and even weather. So if it's a tough weather day and they're a bit overwhelmed at lunchtime, which is when most people are looking for their burger and fries, it's going to cost you more than if you get the burger earlier in the day.
That's irritating because you think about it. If your regular order is like, say, $10, and then you go and it's $12.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's so small you wouldn't even feel it. Maybe it's $10.50 or something.
I don't know, but I can't imagine anybody being in favor of this
No.
other than Wendy's themselves.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. We're a half hour from the opening bell. Dow futures off 37. That's 0.1%. S&P up a fraction, just 2. The NASDAQ futures up 30, which is just about 0.2%.
We've got slow movement, but anything's better than what we had earlier. The flow's starting to move northbound I-15 around 2100 North, where the first crashes happened this morning in Utah County. We'll get the latest on your drive when we come back.
Maybe it's because they're excited about Leap Day at the end of February. This is Jeff Kaplan. At Advanced Window Products, Leap Day means they get an extra day to build windows. But for you, it's an incredible opportunity. This month, they'll give you $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. $2,500 off on the highest quality custom window frames and double pane glass. They'll lower your energy bill and give your home an exciting new look. Any style, any color. At Advanced Window Products, you save money because they cut out the middleman. They build your windows right here in Salt Lake City. They install the windows and they guarantee them for life. So beat the rush. Once it gets warmer, their schedule backs up and you have to wait months and months for installation. So make the call and get to the head of the line. Save $2,500 and get custom precision windows built right here in Salt Lake City. Advanced Window Products offers 60-month 0% financing. You can buy now, pay later, but call now. 801-850-9100. 801-850-9100 or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Be advised, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to save 40 to 80% on a hot tub and swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. Be advised, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to save 40 to 80% on a hot tub and swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Utah State Fair Park. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Utah State Fair Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Utah State Fair Park. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Utah State Fair Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Utah State Fair Park. Friday, noon to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Utah State Fair Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
6:59. We have emergency traffic brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Well, Matt, at some point the plows will be finished and we'll see traffic move a little more consistently. But for now, I-15 is just inching along between Pioneer Crossing and SR-92 in Lehigh going up to Point of the Mountain. Now people trying to join the freeway north of 2100 North are getting caught in the backups as well. Some people bailing off the freeway and trying to head out to Redwood Road, so expect some extra slowing westbound on Pioneer Crossing. That's not very normal, Lehigh, Maine. But the delays on Redwood now between Crossroads Boulevard and 2100 North just here a little bit early is all. Heather?
We don't have any accidents reported in the Salt Lake Valley right now, but Mountain View Corridor looks like it's plenty slick, and most of the traffic right now is heading northbound between Draper area all the way up to 5400 south in Kearns, so that could be a little bit slower than normal. If you are eastbound I-80 through Parley's Canyon, it looks like we still have a semi-truck on the scene of a crash. Earlier it had been blocking 2 left lanes of traffic. I'm not sure if that's the case right now. This camera is covered with snow, so it's a little hard to see, but you definitely have slowdowns going over the summit where that crash happened. Eric?
I-15 southbound in Weber and Davis counties looking sharp right now. You do have wet roads, of course, so you got to be careful, but you got a normal travel time, 30 minutes from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake. With fresh snow comes fresh tracks at Murdoch Hyundai. Right now receive 0% for 3 years on the Tucson or Santa Fe. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 for a high today. It's crazy to look at, but by Friday we're going to be back at 60. That's the warm before a weekend storm. Right now, just cloudy downtown. It's 30 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
It is the weather. The overnight storm's going to be moving out of the state today, but it's left some serious problems on the roads this morning.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage. February storm. Adam?
Amanda, here where I'm at in Salt Lake County, there is barely any flakes falling. The roads are dry. But in other parts of the Wasatch Front, we've just been seeing terrible conditions from snow lingering from the overnight hours. But not even just the snow, it's the fact of how cold it is today compared to yesterday, that a lot of that melted snow is freezing over, causing some slick spots on the roads. National Weather Service lead meteorologist Christine Cruz tells me, though, it is going to let up in the valleys as we work through the morning with dry air moving in.
As we go through the day, that dry air is just going to keep moving into the area, and so snow showers are largely going to be in the mountains after this morning into this afternoon.
Now, things will clear out later today all the way through Friday. We're expected to reach 60 degrees again. But as you said, Tim, that's the warm before the storm comes Saturday, Sunday. We have another winter storm coming through, starting with mountain snow and then potentially bringing valley snow by Sunday. Live on the roads on Salt Lake County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A skier is lucky to be alive after an avalanche swept her and 3 friends down a hillside. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our live team coverage. February storm. Peter?
Tim, it took a Department of Public Safety helicopter to hoist this skier out of the avalanche field at Little Water Peak on the north side of Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Their injuries were not life-threatening, although they definitely got bossed around a bit.
That's Avalanche Center forecaster Craig Gordon. He tells me the conditions that led to this included wind shear that cut across the snow caps in the mountains and stripped that snow from south-facing slopes and put it on top of north-facing ones. So word to the wise today, avalanche risk is at a level 3 in northern Utah, so make sure you check out the Utah Avalanche Center's website for more up-to-date information. Reporting live, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
Tense moments between a snowboarder and a homeowner near the Brighton Ski Resort when the snowboarder says the man confronted him with a gun. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
Snowboarder Lauren Richardson tells KSL 5 he did not realize he was on private property when he dropped down into a driveway he thought was a road.
He's like angry walking at me and he points the gun right at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get shot.
Brighton Mayor Dan Knoop says they know who the man is who pulled the gun, but the property owner did not directly point the gun at Richardson, who isn't pressing charges. Still, detectives have talked to the man.
So they talked to him about the gun thing first, then he called them for people that were trespassing. Now we have a detective working with them.
Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The National Weather Service here in Utah just posted some new snow totals minutes ago. They say this storm has dropped 13 inches of snow at Brighton, 10 in the mountains near Logan, and 5 so far in Magna.
Snow today, but spring break is just around the corner, and Americans are even more eager to travel than ever. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Amanda, AAA is already seeing a significant increase in the number of people who are taking their vacations out to warmer climates in the next few weeks. Now, to give you one example, the number of cruises which are sailing out of southern Florida is up by 60% from last year, and this includes travelers who have planned out their vacations and those who are just winging it. Now, at any rate, spring break for Utah's colleges begins as early as next week, with K through 12 getting their break later in March and April. Plan ahead. Gas prices are starting to go up, and you're likely to see millions of flyers heading out of Salt Lake International Airport and the Provo Airport. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Let's talk about those gas prices. Very much on people's minds as they plan their spring road trips.
Gas prices have been going up in recent weeks as some states begin to switch to summer blends of gas, but also because of an Indiana refinery that had problems a few weeks ago and attacks on tankers in the Red Sea. Some of that has stabilized, and the Energy Department reports in the past week the price of regular unleaded has come down 2 cents to $3.25 a gallon. Alex Stone, EBC News.
First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report, and it's emergency traffic, Andy.
And it has been all morning. It does look like traffic's moving a little more consistently now towards Point of the Mountain from 2100 north in Lehigh. It's not moving anywhere near the speed limit, but it is moving, and it was really struggling earlier. It's still at its worst point is at the back end of the delays in American Fork. Redwood Road's backed up through the entire stretch of Lehigh, so that won't give you much of an escape. Lots of slowing on Bangerter in South Jordan and West Valley and on Mountain View, and a couple spots in Parley's Canyon on I-80 where traffic comes to a stop. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. Today is Michigan's primary election, but deciding the delegates on the Republican side could get a little complicated.
But there's actually a schism within the Republican Party in Michigan where there are these two different groups that are going to be claiming, oh, we're sending the delegates to the RNC. So both claim to be the legitimate Republican Party of Michigan, and they are both holding conventions on Saturday. It's kind of a mess. You know, there's a lot of inside baseball there. The RNC is going to have to sort it out.
538 senior elections analyst Nathaniel Rakich says 16 out of the GOP's 55 delegates in Michigan are up for grabs today. The rest of the 39 delegates will be allocated in the party's convention.
Lawmakers are working to prevent another government shutdown.
While a number of House Republicans say they're okay with a government shutdown, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says
shutting down the government is harmful to the country.
Democratic Senate leader Chuck Schumer pointing blame at House Republicans not standing up to their leading presidential candidate.
We must resist basing our choices on what people like Donald Trump want Congress to do.
Less than a week for the House and Senate to avoid that shutdown. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
President Biden made a surprise visit to NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers, and the president's age was brought up.
You are currently 81 years old.
Who the hell told you that?
Yeah.
That's classified.
That's classified.
The president also talked about the war in Gaza, Taylor Swift, and conspiracies.
Funeral arrangements are being made for Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny.
Navalny spokeswoman Kira Yarmish saying they are still struggling to find a funeral home that will agree to help them out of fear of the authorities. Writing, quote, "We have called most of the private and public funeral agencies, commercial venues, and funeral halls. Some of them say the place is fully booked. Some refuse when we mention the surname Navalny. In one place, we were told that the funeral agencies were forbidden to work with us." Navalny's body has been moved to Moscow, and the funeral will likely take place at the end of the week. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
A woman is lucky to only have a few cuts and bruises after a crash into a 2,000-pound moose. KSL TV's Kirsten Nunez has more.
Kirsten Christensen lives here in Draper, and she tells me that since the crash last night, she has heard from first responders, medical staff, wildlife officials, all telling her the same thing. She's lucky to be alive.
They were like, "How are you standing? How are you still alive?"
Christensen's family was able to take home 200 pounds of moose meat with a wildlife disposal receipt.
The Rust movie set manslaughter trial resumes today.
Ross Adiego was a crew member on the Rust movie set.
So they were trying to stabilize her.
He described the moment cinematographer Helena Hutchins was shot by a bullet mistakenly placed in a gun held by Alec Baldwin. Adiego testified that safety standards on set were not up to par.
I don't know that I've ever seen an armor pull loose ammo out of a fanny pack.
And singled out Gutierrez Reed for a lack of professionalism.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert says actor Alec Baldwin's trial for his role in the death is set to begin in July.
A new Western series filmed right here in Utah is getting some buzz after a new trailer was released.
Kevin Costner is looking to redefine Westerns again with his upcoming theatrical series, Horizon, An American Saga.
Hi, I'm Kevin Costner, and wanted to invite you to see Horizon, the American Saga trailer. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time.
4 films are planned, with the first part coming to theaters on June 28th. The second part will hit just 2 months later on August 16th. Parts 3 and 4 have not yet begun production.
There's no army off this earth that's going to stop those wagons coming.
The Oscar-winning filmmaker has been working on the project for more than 6 years. After failing to get a single film made, he broke the story into 4 parts.
All I'm trying to do is get as many of us as I can, as far as I can.
Horizon tells a story of post-Civil War America as settlers expanded westward. I'm Kevin Carr.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of nice things to say about the state of Utah and why he decided to film here. Of course, it's just tough to recreate what we have to offer in a natural landscape on a soundstage somewhere.
Not a surprise he fell in love with it here. Many of us did.
Yellowstone fans are a little upset with him, however, for ruining the storyline of their favorite show. 7:09, it's time for us to look at traffic and weather together, and it's an emergency traffic situation. Tough day down in Utah County. Let's get the latest now, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Here's Andy.
Well, the road's moving a little bit now, even in some of the worst backups. There's a little bit of hope coming. You're inching along in American Fork, and then there'll be a stretch in Lehigh where you speed up. Then it really backs up near 2100 North. As you go up to Point of the Mountain, actually speeds are slow all the way up to about the Bluffdale exit now. Lots of backups coming down from Highland and Alpine over to I-15 on SR 92. Redwood looks like a parking lot in between Lehigh, Maine and 2100 North. And just a heads up, that crash still affecting drivers northbound in Santaquin, blocking one of the 2 lanes. Heather?
We have seen the snowplows go through on I-80 right around Parley Summit, both eastbound and westbound. There's still some slowing in both directions, though, because of the snowplows and earlier crashes. And then if you're continuing east into Kimball Junction or Silver Creek Junction, you've got delays as people try to exit there up toward the ski resorts. Down in the Salt Lake Valley, not a whole lot of delay. No accidents reported, but some of the roads are still pretty slick, like Mountain View Corridor, portions of Bangerter Highway. They look like they're still a bit icy, so you just need to use caution. Eric?
It's not bad north of Salt Lake County. For instance, Sardine Canyon going out to Logan is many times a trouble spot. You've got decent movement through the whole canyon this morning. And southbound from there all the way through Ogden, Kaysville, Bountiful to downtown. I-15 southbound is looking good. Is the IRS harassing you? Are tax problems ruining your life? Let Utah Tax Attorney Jordan Wilcox help. Visit taxhelput.com. That's taxhelput.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast. We've got a chance for snow showers in the morning. 7 a.m. we've got 29 for a temperature. It will be chilly. Have the heavier coat. Lunch hour, mostly cloudy. There's still a chance for snow showers into the afternoon, but temperatures topping out at only 37 degrees, which is a solid 20 colder than yesterday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Looks a little different out there than it did on Sunday,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
for sure.
Right now, snow on the ground, 30 degrees.
Police are looking for a car that was involved in a road rage shooting on Valentine's Day. Maybe you can help. We'll tell you more in just a moment.
Let's talk sports right here. The BYU men's basketball team on the road again in Kansas, preparing to play the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks in the historic Allen Fieldhouse. The Cougars face a tough task, but are hoping to get a big road win and get back into the top 25. Pre-game here on KSL News Radio starts at 5. The tip coming your way at 6.
Utah State is back in the top 25, and the 22nd-ranked Aggies are on the road tonight facing Fresno State.
Utah Jazz players have high marks for something other than basketball. Here's KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson.
The Utah Jazz is one of only 8 other NBA teams to not have any current or past players file for bankruptcy. This is significant because NBA player bankruptcy is 6 times that of the regular population, even though many of them make millions. NBA teams proven most likely to produce bankrupt players include the Celtics, Nets, and Bulls. This according to Oddspedia.com. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
A woman in Ireland lost a court case because of a Christmas tree. John Trout explains.
A 36-year-old woman had claimed that a car accident in 2017 left her with debilitating pain and unable to lift anything heavy, even forcing her to stay in bed for days due to her claims of back, neck, and spine injuries. And as she said, unable to lift groceries or even play with the kids. She took her insurance company to court, suing for $820,000. Before the judge could rule, a picture of the woman showed up in a local newspaper, and in that photo, she was seen taking part in the annual Christmas tree toss competition, where contestants hurl their holiday tree as far as they can throw it.
The woman won the tree throwing competition, but the photos in the paper were enough for the judge to dismiss the case.
Yeah, not surprised. All right, trending this hour in the 7 o'clock report. I believe the first name is Cabrienne Richens from Hennifer, Utah, got a golden ticket to Hollywood after an incredible American Idol audition.
It'll be fine by dusklight, I'm telling you.
Hennifer has a population of less than 900 people. Richens joked about the small town with the judges.
Where are you from?
Utah. In the middle of nowhere, honestly.
We wish our Utah native the best of luck.
Man, that's a sweet voice, isn't it?
Yep, and to come from such a great place here in our state. Wonderful. We wish her good luck. KSL News Time, 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
snow and or ice could impact your drive into work. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a skier is lucky to be alive after she was swept down a mountain slope in an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon.
Third, let's check the drive, traffic and weather together.
Well, long wait through American Fork, Lehigh up to Point of the Mountain. Got a new crash reported near 106 South on over on Bangerter. You got only one lane getting by, and that has brought traffic to a halt, stretching back towards 114th South now in South Jordan. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
20 degrees colder today with a chance for snow showers. I'm Matt Johnson.
Can I just share a text we got, Tim? This is a person who's stuck in that backup on I-15. As I sit here parked on the I-15 in Lehigh, I'm enjoying the view. I can see the moon peeking through the clouds every once in a while.
Look for the silver lining.
See? I'm learning from this listener. Appreciate that. Right now it's 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Enjoy the view. Let's take a look at our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. There's a big meeting today at the White House. The main objective, avoiding a government shutdown. The next objective, getting money to Ukraine. Here's ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers.
The White House says it's the basic duty of Congress to keep the government open. But this is now the 4th time this fiscal year that a potential shutdown has been imminent. The White House says the president will push top congressional leaders today to reach an agreement on government funding and try and move the ball on the $95 billion national security bill that sends $60 billion dollars to Ukraine. The Senate passed that bill with bipartisan support, but its future is uncertain in the House under Republican Speaker Mike Johnson. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
It's primary election day in Michigan. Donald Trump and Joe Biden expected to easily win, even though there is a protest vote planned against Biden. Arab Americans in the state expected to write in uncommitted to show dissatisfaction with U.S. policy in Gaza. Biden was on Late Night with Seth Meyers last night, saying that the framework of a ceasefire in the Middle East is in place so more hostages can be released.
And if we've got at least a principle agreement, there'll be a ceasefire while that takes place. Ramadan's coming up, and there's been an agreement by the Israelis that they would not engage in activities.
However, ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge in Tel Aviv says
President Biden predicting a ceasefire in Gaza within the next 6 days, saying he's been told a deal is close but not done yet. This morning, though, an Israeli official telling us that prediction from President Biden took Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by surprise.
The privately built lunar lander nicknamed Odie landed near the moon's south pole last week with great fanfare. It's expected today, however, to die. Apparently, it tipped over onto its side after landing, and its solar panels are only receiving partial sunlight, dramatically shortening the lander's battery life. More heat records could be broken today as a line of storms move from west to east across the country. You're listening to ABC News.
That's a bummer about Odie.
We both have a sad lip on that one. Odie has OD'd, and his life is shortened on the planet. Wow. All right, another news this morning. A Utah entrepreneur is accused of stealing money from an 80-year-old woman in a Ponzi scheme. Police say that Joseph Firmage took the woman's Social Security checks and left her in a house with no running water, no utilities. Firmage was reportedly supposed to take care of her finances, but isolated her instead. He's scheduled to be in court next month.
Affording child care is a big hurdle for many Utah families, and the Utah legislature will not be stepping in to cover recently lost federal funding.
Advocates say parents across Utah are facing a similar dilemma.
People drop out because they just simply cannot afford it anymore.
Anna Thomas is with Voices for Utah Children. She's worried about child care in the state, especially now that billions in pandemic-era federal funding for child care providers is all but dried up.
KSL TV's Daniel Woodruff says the state does offer assistance programs which help pay for child care. You can read a lot more about this story at ksltv.com.
Also new this morning, and we hope you might be able to help. The Highway Patrol says they're trying to find a car that was involved in a road rage shooting on Valentine's Day. It happened on the southbound lanes of I-15 between 33rd and 45th South. They're looking for a dark-colored Mini Cooper. The driver of that Mini is suspected of shooting at a person in a Toyota Tacoma.
7:19 now. We have emergency traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Right now, I-15 still looking messy from American Fork to Point of the Mountain. It does speed up after SR-92, but you don't get the full speed limit till you're almost to Bangerter Highway in Draper. Redwood, no better. In fact, Mountain View Corridor going from SR-73 up to past that subdivision to hook up with Redwood Road. That's backed up just as much as Redwood is. And 2300 West, if you were thinking of that, from Main Street up to 2100 North. That's just as backed up as everything else. Heather?
We have a crash on Bangerter Highway at the south end of the Salt Lake Valley. This is northbound right at 106 South in South Jordan. 2 right lanes are blocked, and that roadway there looks extremely icy, snow-covered, etc. Only 1 left lane getting through there. That has traffic backed up to 118th South in Riverton. You might be better off taking an alternate route. If you're taking the West Side Belt and 201 freeway, they don't have any delays right now. It looks pretty good coming out of Tooele County, but going through Parley's Canyon, still a bit icy over the summit. Eric?
Still no slowdown spots southbound I-15 between Ogden and downtown Salt Lake if you're going through Weber and Davis counties this morning. US 89 as you go through South Ogden. You do have a little bit of slowing en route to I-84. I-84 out into Weber Canyon right now. We don't have any major problems going out to Morgan. Call 866-0-RES and say you want the KSL special. $33 per room cleaned and $50 off air duct cleaning. 0-RES. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has got a springtime roller coaster. 37 today. That's 20 cooler than yesterday, with a chance for snow showers this afternoon. 47 mostly sunny for tomorrow. 57 partly cloudy on Thursday. We top out at 60 degrees on Friday, partly cloudy skies and breezy out of the south. Saturday, rain, snow showers, cold front, 52 the high, we drop to 39 with snow showers on Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, cold, 37. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy out there, but no snow at the moment. 30 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I'm excited about the thought of having Major League Baseball here.
Me too.
In Salt Lake City. And Dave and Dujanovic are going to be out this morning. They're out by the state fairgrounds because they are right down the street from where that new MLB stadium would go. Along North Temple there.
Yeah.
So they're going to be discussing all the side issues, what the effect on, housing prices in that area. People talk about gentrification and what that would do. But it would raise home prices, I would think.
Well, and everybody's familiar with those 3 big smokestacks out there. Those would remain and become a landmark. There's been talk that maybe they would decorate them up so they look like baseball bats.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Which is kind of a neat idea. So that gives you an idea of where it's at. But, boy, there's a lot of questions. I hope they get an answer to the one that I saw most on social media, which is, do we have to build it before you get commitment from a team? And then what happens to it if that's the case?
Yeah. It sits empty waiting on a team.
That
But then our
doesn't
texters yesterday
plausible.
said, if you build it, they will come.
That's true. We'll look forward to that broadcast coming up, top of the hour, 9 o'clock hour here on KSL News Radio. But we'll check money news next.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Gallery Mar is a women-owned fine art gallery located on Park City's historic Main Street. The gallery also provides comprehensive services in art consultation, site evaluation, custom commissions, and installation. Owner Maren Mullen joins us with more.
Since its establishment in 2008, Gallery Mar has been a place where brilliant artistic vision meets the everyday lives of collectors around the globe. With a fresh and lively atmosphere, Gallery Mar seeks to educate and inspire collectors while supporting and encouraging nationally known artists. The diverse array of artwork is constantly changing, yet the standard of artistic talent and superior customer service remains the same. We recently opened our second and third gallery locations in Carmel by the Sea, California, and we're looking to expand here in Utah. I'm most proud of the artists whose careers we have launched here. We have several artists who got their starts at Gallery Mar, and now they're in museum collections and galleries across the U.S. The fact that they can now support themselves full-time as artists and have a diverse career in the arts is my greatest accomplishment here.
For more than 15 years, Gallery Mar has been dedicated to fostering Utah's vibrant fine arts scene and supporting local artists. Learn more and view upcoming exhibitions at their website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It looks like a done deal that Utah's going to be the proud owner of a Major League Baseball stadium. That is, if we ever get a team. Today, we'll take the show live to the Power District, just a ground rule double away from the proposed stadium. Today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Experts think airfare will go up this summer because of Boeing's legal trouble. Production delays and late deliveries will result in fewer flights, driving up the cost.
Netflix wants customers to stop paying their subscription through Apple. It's because Apple takes a 30% cut of all in-app purchases. Members billed through the App Store may be getting an email asking them to change their payment plan.
In an effort to stay in business, Macy's is downsizing, closing 150 stores. To keep their head above water, the retailer is focusing on its luxury stores, Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury.
All right, markets are mixed here just ahead of the bell this morning. The Dow is the only one in the red, and it's off less than 0.1%. It's down 33 points. S&P is up, but less than 6, and the NASDAQ on the plus side by 42.
Is that traffic on northbound I-15 moving?
It is, and there's people actually getting onto the freeway now, so things are improving.
Maybe they're getting a little better now northbound between American Fork and Draper, but we'll check it next on KSL News Radio.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $36.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Managing today's uncertainty can be overwhelming. We crave security, and it's uncomfortable when we sense a lack of control over our lives. Develop a routine for a more balanced lifestyle with healthy habits and fun. Focus on what you can control, even if it's little things, like a before-bedtime ritual.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
A stranger with a gun fires on 2 teens, shattering lives. But that's only the beginning of the story. Listen to The Letter at theletterpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Yeah, we thought it was moving better, Andy, but a different camera angle doesn't look so good.
Well, and what we were looking at there was a little bit further back towards the back end of the delays. This is a little further up. Right now, the traffic is at its worst between Lehigh Main Street and SR 92, but you've got some slowing even prior to Lehigh Main and some slowing after SR 92, but that's just where it's at its worst. All your northbound lanes through Lehigh, anywhere west of the freeway, are backed up for people looking for alternates. Redwood in particular right now between, it looks like the Pony Express Parkway all the way up to 2100 North Lehigh. Heather?
Our worst traffic in the Salt Lake Valley is Bangerter Highway northbound between 118th South and Riverton, all the way up to 106 South and South Jordan. It's due to a crash blocking 2 right lanes of travel, so you may want to take an alternate. Get on to Redwood Road instead if you can. Northbound I-15 coming over the point of the mountain from Utah County, we now have just enough traffic getting through that it is starting to cause delays as you make your way toward Bangerter Highway and up into the Sandy area. No problems, though, really, on the 201 freeway. A little bit slow coming out of Magna, but that's typical. Eric?
Eastbound slowdowns over wet and slick I-80 at Parley Summit, where a crash was reported. We haven't seen it on camera. Further up the line, you do have slowing approaching Silver Creek to go south on US 40. Now, westbound in the valley on I-80, you got a crash trying to get onto I-80 from State Street. Not seeing any major delays as a result, though. Southbound from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake still looks good on the freeway. Revere Health encourages you to schedule your preventative care and annual checkups to help increase the potential to live your most healthy and active life. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner in life. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to go up about 30 degrees between right now and the high on Friday. Friday will get to 60. Can you believe that? Right now, downtown cloudy and 30 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Getting more teachers into Utah classrooms is a priority for lawmakers, school districts, and parents.
But there is debate over the process of who should be allowed to teach. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston begins our live team coverage Eye on the Hill 2024. Peter?
Amanda, I'm currently looking at a map that shows where teacher shortages are most severe nationwide. And according to the study, Utah is second place, which is 44.2 teachers for every 1,000 students. So what's the solution? Here in Utah, Representative Noah Thurston wants to get rid of the assessment that checks how well a teacher can manage a class. His bill already has critics like Utah Education Association President Renee Pinkney, who tells the Salt Lake Tribune this bill is a bad idea that could bring unqualified teachers to schools. The bill still does look ready to become law this week. We'll be posting more bill info and the teacher shortage map on KSL News Radio this morning. Reporting live from the state capitol, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A bill dealing with water-wise landscaping is close to reaching the governor's desk. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our live team coverage. High on the Hill 2024. Adam.
Tim, the bill would set up an incentive program specifically for developers of new housing who choose to choose to use water-wise turf or other alternatives to save irrigation water. Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Joel Ferry says doing programs like this makes a lot more sense in terms of conserving water.
It's less disruptive. It saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of effort, and is a better way to perform these tasks.
Now, the bill would also set limits for how much money developers can get based on the size of their properties. It still needs to clear the full House by Friday night. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Veterans exposed to toxins and other hazards during service will no longer have to wait years for VA health care coverage.
Veterans Affairs says this is the biggest expansion of VA health care ever. Terrence Hayes, the VA's press secretary and a veteran of the war in Iraq, explains.
It impacts veterans of the Vietnam War, of the Gulf War, Afghanistan, again, Iraq, and all those global war on terror conflicts to come into our system and get the care that they have earned.
The PACT Act had veterans waiting to be eligible for the plan for up to 8 years, but the Biden administration eliminated that. Hayes urges all veterans in Utah to sign up starting on March 5th at the Salt Lake VA Hospital or at va.gov. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Checking the air quality and detecting wildfires could be improved with the help of a new black carbon sensor. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has more on a new U of U study.
Black carbon is produced by diesel exhaust and wood smoke. Dr. Daniel Mendoza, who worked on the study, says the new units they tested are more portable and affordable, but just as accurate as the older equipment.
We can now use this smaller piece of equipment, which is now more readily available. So communities can purchase it, can place it in an area of concern, for example, let's say a school, a rec center, a senior center, or a park.
Dr. Mendoza said this could alert the most vulnerable populations more quickly when the air quality is poor and smoke is in the air. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. An update this morning on the cyber attack on United Healthcare, causing problems for pharmacies all over the country.
With this latest attack, a pharmacy near Pittsburgh is using the honor system, giving patients their meds now and billing insurance later.
It's also risky. Are we actually going to get paid what we should get paid for that prescription?
Large pharmacy chains like Walgreens and CVS are reporting only a limited impact from this attack. It's the smaller pharmacies that have been most affected. Many have now switched to paper processing, which is causing delays and backlog.
ABC's Lionel Moise says these types of cyber attacks are becoming more common, especially against healthcare companies.
Andy's back with your first look traffic.
We had one of our listeners say it took him an hour to get from Lehigh to Draper this morning, and it's going to be a little better than that now, but not a whole lot better. From Lehigh, American Fork, Pioneer Crossing up to Point of the Mountain, that's still going to take you at least 30 minutes and probably closer to 45. We've got delays on Redwood. We've got a Bangerter crash in South Jordan where it's really slick. Only one lane of Bangerter open near 104th South. And then in Parley's Canyon over the summit, eastbound, still in really rough shape. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
2 months have passed since the Tooele Animal Shelter stopped taking in surrendered animals. But there's a way you can help. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit has more. Michael?
Amanda, one reason people have to abandon or surrender their pets in the first place is because they can't afford pet food. Now, fortunately for them, there are pet pantries like the one found in Rough Haven and Salt Lake City where the families can go to get pet food.
We had a woman come and she had brought several friends to be able to pick up food from Tooele.
Rough Haven's co-founder, Christina Pulsifer, says others have come from as far away as Logan. Now, if you'd like to help them save at-risk pets, you can actually find an Amazon or Chewy waitlist on Rough Haven's website.
We kind of say that by you supporting us, you're supporting a family just like yours.
Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Arguments are still being heard on whether Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes' calendar should be made public. Assistant Attorney General Vanessa Walsh says the case is about more than just transparency.
This case is not about secrecy, and it's not about keeping records from the public. It's about statutory interpretation.
A judge will rule on the case today.
The next generation of space exploration is taking shape right here in northern Utah.
3, 2, 1.
The first piece of the solid rocket boosters that will propel NASA's Artemis campaign to the moon and eventually to Mars is complete at Northrop Grumman's facility in Promontory, Utah. According to a release from the company, these new rocket boosters are capable of carrying nearly 5 metric tons more than the previous boosters. Part of the reason they can do that is because the casing is made of a weight-saving carbon fiber composite. A full test of these new boosters is scheduled for later this year. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
A bomb threat in Utah apparently was the result of someone being uninvited to a wedding.
A man was arrested near Moab last fall after claiming he planted bombs around a wedding venue. We're now learning that the man was hired to say that by the bride's estranged brother and brother-in-law. Police documents say it's because the bride uninvited her mother, and her mother promised her that if she wasn't invited, she would crash it and make her regret her decision. The brothers, Daniel Preston and Jeffrey Hack, are being charged with 2 counts of criminal conspiracy. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Yeah, you can't pick your family.
In this case, I think I would be running if I was the unrelated party.
I'm so sorry for this backup that's still dragging people down northbound I-15 from American Fork to Draper. We'll check it next on KSL.
A legacy of news and information going back generations.
I'll have the radio on. I learned that from my mom. She's listened to KSL her whole life, and I grew up listening to KSL radio too.
I really enjoy listening in the morning.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Okay, that's good. Whoa, Dave!
Sorry, I'll go grab some paper towels. You can't let Dave pour things. He works at JCW's. They fill stuff up past the brim over there, like their milkshakes. They're thick, rich, and oh my gosh.
Delicious?
Oh no. Dave's filling up Crystal's car for her.
Dave, stop!
Hey, this is Clark for JCW. Stop into any of our 5 locations today. We're located in American Fork, Thanksgiving Point, Provo, South Jordan, and our new location in Harriman. Come in and see why at JCW's we believe in quality and a lot of it.
On March 5th at 7 p.m., something extraordinary is happening in Utah. The Utah Republican Caucus. It's not just a meeting. It's a gathering of neighbors, friends, and like-minded people, united in the pursuit of a stronger state and nation. Come discuss the principles that Utah has and needs. Elect delegates that reflect the heartbeat of our communities. You'll help rescue our nation's future by voting for your preferred Republican presidential candidate. Registered Republicans, show up, be heard. Visit utgop.org to find your local caucus. Paid for by the Utah Republican Party.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home. From so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Ah, the life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
We've got emergency traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. What's going on now, Andy?
Well, Amanda, not much relief for the delays. Traffic's moving, but only at less than 10 miles an hour between Pioneer Crossing and Point of the Mountain. SR 92's backed up for a couple of miles coming down the hill to get to the freeway. Redwood's backed up the whole way through Lehigh. And really, basically, all of your major arteries through Lehigh are seeing delays right now. If you're coming out of Eagle Mountain, don't take Mountain View up towards Redwood because that's backed up the whole entire loop as well. Heather?
We also have big delays northbound Bangerter Highway between Riverton and 106 South in South Jordan. This is due to a crash still blocking the 2 right lanes right at that exit ramp, and you're better off taking an alternate route there. Now, we also have several city street crashes reported, one out in the Magna area, 3500 South, 6400 West, as well as 5400 South, 40th West. Those are causing a little bit of delay in that area. but the rest of the major roadways in the Salt Lake Valley are moving fairly well right now. Eric.
Listener tells us we got an westbound crash on I-84 in Weber Canyon in the Mountain Green area. This is just east of the power plant. Several cars involved, and over to the right. Now, at the moment, not seeing any delays going through there, but emergency vehicles had not arrived at the moment, he told us. Southbound on I-80, I-15, you do have some slowing going through Riverdale, but south of that, all the way to downtown, we've got good movement until you get to the Rose Park area on approach to the downtown exits. Big O Tires is your one-stop shop for tires and service. Now through March 17th, buy 3, get 1 free on select sets of tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Courtesy of last night's cold front, we'll see a high of only 37 today with a chance for snow showers. Overnight, we'll dip off to 24, rather chilly. 47 tomorrow, mostly sunny, up to 57 by Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
I just saw Kansas City, Missouri was 79 yesterday. It's 19 degrees to start the morning.
So I won't complain.
It's a 60-degree flip.
Wow.
Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, it's 30.
In fact, we're going to grab Matt Johnson and bring him in the booth here in a minute to talk a little bit more about this storm. And the next one on the way, that's just ahead on KSL.
Right now, though, it's time for Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, and it's brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
Remember the most recent eclipse? People made pilgrimage to central Utah on a Saturday morning, jamming up I-15, going to places where hotel rooms and gas stations don't exist, and it was kind of marginal because of clouds, and it wasn't really a total eclipse. But 6 weeks from now, on April 8th, there will be a total eclipse across a swath of the country from Texas to Maine.
I'm being followed by a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow.
Skies will darken, the sun will hide behind the moon, and the ring of fire will be there for all to see. A magical bucket list experience, and good luck if you want to see it. Along the route of totality, hotel rates are jacked to the moon. But some crafty people with a little money in their pockets have figured out a hack. This is dicey, but it could work. Book a flight. For instance, the Wall Street Journal reports one guy booked a Delta flight from San Antonio to Detroit that rides along the path of totality. This guy considered the angle of the sun, carefully chose a seat on the correct side of the plane, and for $500, he'll have a ringside seat above the clouds. Ingenious. Except Delta changed the schedule and the flight now departs 3 hours after the eclipse. But good for him, he figured out Delta is running a special flight from Austin to Detroit specifically for eclipse watchers. It's an Airbus A320 with extra large windows, and that guy's gonna be on it, but you won't. Like all the hotels, the flight's sold out. Your only hope to get a glimpse of this eclipse is to hit up a relative in Dallas, Cleveland, Buffalo, or any place in between.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
You're bobbing your head over there.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the Minute is like revisiting my high school playlist every time Jeff gives a report, things I remember.
Me too. And it's brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox. IRS harassing you? The law offices of Jordan Wilcox can help. Visit taxhelput.com.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. It's not just you.
My husband passed away. He had been ill for quite some time. And he did the taxes, but he forgot to send them in. He never sent the forms in. And this was the beginning of my nightmare.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
I got all these letters from the IRS telling me I owed them $63,000. I had a good friend that she said, "You need an attorney." She said, "Call Jordan Wilcox."
You need someone to fight for you.
He said, "Cynthia, we're going to give him $3,000. How does that sound?" I started crying because I was overwhelmed.
Visit taxhelput.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit taxhelput.com.
You have it made in the shade with Jordan Wilcox.
That's taxhelput.com.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 7:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
a skier is recovering after an avalanche partly buried her at Big Cottonwood Canyon. From KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, University of Utah researchers hope new air quality sensors can also help give early warnings about newly detected wildfire smoke.
Third, the latest on your drive with traffic and weather together.
Long drive commute times on I-15 from American Fork into Draper. Bangerter's backed up through South Jordan because of a crash near 104th South. Little Cottonwood Canyon closed for avalanche control, and slowdowns all along 201 now from Magna into West Valley. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 today with snow showers, and then we're warming. I'm Matt Johnson.
46 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time now for a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden meeting today with top congressional leaders. There is another looming government shutdown this weekend. ABC's Rachel Scott with a rundown of what could be included if it happens.
Funding for several key agencies will run out, including agriculture, transportation, housing, and veteran services. More than 100,000 federal workers would go without pay. That also includes air traffic controllers, which could possibly lead to travel disruptions. And then 1 week later, the rest of the federal government would shut down, with funding running out for the Pentagon and Department of Homeland Security.
It's primary election day in Michigan. Some Arab American voters, many of whom live around Detroit, are planning to write uncommitted instead of pulling the lever for President Joe Biden because they say they are upset about U.S. policy in Gaza. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is blaming the White House and its border policy following the death of a nursing student who was murdered on the University of Georgia campus. The main suspect in the case, an immigrant who was in the country illegally. This is ABC News.
We are suffering from a little weather whiplash. Yesterday's highs were in the 60s. Now it's snowing. What will the rest of the week look like?
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson joins us live in studio. I was surprised to see, I live in West Jordan, to see as much snow as we got out there.
I know. Isn't it kind of fun?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's early spring in Utah, and we've got another whiplash in the works for later this week. In fact, this weekend, we'll go from 60 Friday to a cold front with rain switching to snow Saturday, Sunday. So
I'll tell you what's interesting. This morning, Brighton was reporting 12 inches, but like 2 inches fell in just a matter of an hour or so when that thing moved through.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the snowfall rates in the mountaintops, yeah, they were enhanced. 1 to 2 inches an hour, or even more at times, right? And that's kind of what you get when you get the wind and the storm ramping up the mountain. It kind of forces more moisture out of the storm.
But then we get texts like this, Matt. There is no snow or even rain right now in Plain City. And earlier we got some texts about that too. I can't find it now.
Yeah.
Telling us, I don't know what you're talking about. It's completely dry here.
That's when you say, good luck, Matt.
Yeah.
Got the trace, and I got reports of trace in Provo as well. So it was mainly the Salt Lake Valley that got most of the snow. So.
Yeah, these are tough for you to even map out, aren't they? Because you told us yesterday it had weakened a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I went for a range of trace to 2, but the trace verified in some spots, but then you got 4 inches in West Valley where you almost have to say, okay, where's the mean here? What's the middle ground? So,
all right, let's look ahead to the 7-day in just a second, Matt. Don't go anywhere. We'll do that coming up next.
In the meantime, it's had a profound effect on our drive, especially down in Utah County. Still an emergency traffic situation on the northbound side. This look brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. It's just slow to recover, Andy.
Yeah, and the snow and icy conditions overnight are starting to improve as far as the condition of the road, but the slowdowns haven't between Lehigh and Point of the Mountain. We've got Redwood backed up through Lehigh, Pioneer Crossing, Main Street, 2100 North, Mountain View where it splits off of SR 73 and goes up to 2100 North. There just is no good way to get over from the west side of Utah County to the freeway if you're north of Utah Lake. Heather?
And if you continue northbound I-15 into the Salt Lake Valley, you will see some stop-and-go traffic from Point of the Mountain all the way up to 106 South in Sandy. Then those brake lights pick up again in Midvale all the way into South Salt Lake. We've got delays on the 201 freeway eastbound between Magna all the way over to the west side belt. And then if you're on Bangerter Highway northbound, you still only have one left lane open at 104 South in South Jordan, and that has traffic backed up all the way into Riverton. Eric?
We are seeing delays now westbound on I-84 because of a crash involving several vehicles just before the power plant. So if you're heading over from Mountain Green, expect that before you get to the mouth of the canyon. Southbound I-15 from Ogden into Riverdale, heading down to Roy. You got some slowing there, and a little bit over on Legacy Parkway now, southbound between Centerville and Bountiful, and then on the 215 west belt, right before you get to I-80, and this is if you're going by the airport. Call 866-0RES and say you want the KSL special. $33 per room cleaned and $50 off air duct cleaning. Zero Res. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. All right, Matt, what happens next?
All right, here comes the roller coaster, folks. We're at the bottom of the hill, 37 today with a chance for snow showers. Tomorrow's 47, mostly sunny skies. Up to 57 by Thursday. Still dry skies. Partly cloudy, breezy on Friday, high of 60. Then we're going to go rain, snow showers late Saturday, 52 the high, down to 39 on Sunday, snow showers. Before you know it, we're at the bottom of the hill again, 37, mostly cloudy on Monday.
Feel like I'm a ride operator at Lagoon getting you on Colossus.
Yeah.
Please keep your hands and arms inside the car at all times. Buckle up and have a good time.
That's right.
It's going to be a wild week. Right now in Salt Lake City, just mostly cloudy and 30 degrees.
And we'll take a look at money news coming up next. We're going to meet our teacher of the month coming up a little later this morning.
Oh, that's
Tim.
right.
I'm excited about. I was just reading about this woman. I won't tell you her name because I don't want to give it away in case she hasn't found out about this yet. But this woman from Highland High School is extraordinary. How many different students wrote into us about her? Like 20 different students talking about how she changed their life. All the teachers that we mentioned from our teacher tribute wall are awesome. But I think we've got a particularly good one to introduce you to next hour.
Well, it's one of the reasons why we always say we wish we could just award all of them because they're all deserving. But it is fun to highlight one every year, or every month rather, and every year. Cyprus Credit Union, of course, is our partner in all of this, and they have put up a $500 Visa gift card as a part of the prizes, but we also have other prizes, including season tickets to Hale Center Theater.
Yes, and a gift certificate to Harmon's, too, I think is in there. And so it's just a wonderful way. It's just, of all the teachers that you tell us about at kslnewsradio.com/teacher, we just randomly select one and give away a bunch of prizes, and we'll do that next hour.
We will do that next hour. In the meantime, if you have a teacher you want to have highlighted that's made a difference in your life or your children's life, just go to kslnewsradio.com/teacher.
I'm Jason Walton. In business, I mentor hundreds of Utahns as they pursue their American dream. The same dream career politicians treat with contempt. They send our money to our enemies abroad while shortchanging our veterans at home. It's not right. They're letting drug cartels escort criminals and terrorists across our border. It's time to stand up. So I'm running for the United States Senate. Stand with me. I'm Jason Walton, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Jason Walton for Senate.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. The pressure of winning is what a sports team is all about. One coach says stress builds character. But the best work teams are about persistence and endurance. Pressure is reduced. Stress is managed. Rescue teams, firefighters, police SWAT, surgical teams, most great work teams engage in what is called critical incident stress management. If they have a high-stress mission, something goes wrong, or it just builds up, they gather, discuss, and resolve, sometimes with the help of trained facilitators. Learn more about what the best work teams do to manage stress and remain productive in an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Dave and Dujanovic.
It looks like a done deal that Utah's going to be the proud owner of a Major League Baseball stadium. That is, if we ever get a team. Today, we'll take the show live to the Power District, just a ground rule double away from the proposed stadium. Today on Dave and Dujanovic.
And I'm sure that broadcast is going to be a home run with Dave and Debbie coming up at 9. All right, watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Markets are mixed, and the Dow is down over 100 points now in the first half hour of trading. The S&P is down, but less than 2. The NASDAQ holding on to positive territory by just 4 points.
It's time for Cougar Tracks with KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper.
For the first time since 1971, BYU basketball will play a game at historic Allen Fieldhouse. BYU, who was dropped out of the AP Top 25 poll this week, gets the tall task of trying to take down the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas is led by head coach Bill Self, who has been the head man at KU since 2004. The Jayhawks have a home record of 313-17 since Self took over. BYU coach Mark Pope recognizes Self as one of the best coaches in all of college hoops.
You look down through this league and the coaches are just incredible. And certainly he's one of the best coaches, most successful coaches in the history of college basketball.
For in-depth coverage of BYU Kansas inside Allen Fieldhouse, download the KSL Sports app and listen to the broadcast here on KSL with tip-off at 6 and pregame coverage beginning at 5 o'clock. With Cougar Tracks from Lawrence, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
If you're trying to decide which gutter protection to put on your home, don't just ask how they'll handle leaves. Ask how they'll handle ice. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and that's right, ice. See, plenty of gutter guards are good at keeping out leaves, but most are made with flimsy materials that can bend, buckle, and break under the weight of too much ice. Kind of a big problem in an icy state like Utah, right? At RGS Exteriors, our exclusive gutter protection systems are built Utah tough. They're made with premium strength materials that hold up to 1,200 pounds of ice per square foot. Simply put, they're not going to budge. Our gutter guards are also certified to handle hurricane-level winds and rain. Mother Nature can't damage them. Guaranteed. Utah Tough Products. That's the RGS way. For a free estimate, call 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com or 801-280-3110.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
At Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital, we made a bold promise to build the nation's model health system for children. Join us in realizing our vision for the future of pediatric care. So together, we can expand primary children's impact and ensure every child has access to the right care at the right place at the right time. For a century, Primary Children's has kept the child first and always. Help us continue to do so for the next 100 years. To get involved, visit primarypromise.org.
At 34, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I finished up my treatments. I truly, truly feel like every day is a gift. I really want to give back, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to help with this study.
Heredogene is an extraordinarily innovative research study wherein we are looking at the genes of hundreds of thousands of participants.
The more information that we have, the more we can help others.
You can help at heredogene.org.
Now this portion of the news is brought to you by Intermountain Healthcare, helping people live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Healthcare, healing for life.
7:59 emergency traffic again, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, it's through Lehigh that's still the biggest issues. I-15, Redwood Road going north, your city streets, 2300 west. Even 3600 west, which people are like, oh, that's a good way to sneak by. Nope, that's not a good one today. If you're taking eastbound traffic, you've got backups on Mountain View coming up from SR 73, slowdowns along Main Street and Pioneer Crossing, although they do improve after Saratoga Road. Heather?
Traffic on the 201 freeway eastbound is at a crawl right now between 80th West and just before 5600 West. It's due to a single vehicle pickup that crashed over on the left barrier on top of the barrier that separates the east and westbound lanes. You also still have the crash Bangerter Highway northbound at 104th South. That is blocking 2 right lanes of traffic, and the traffic is backed up to 118th South in Riverton. You might want to take an alternate route there. Northbound I-15 slow and go from Point of the Mountain toward downtown Salt Lake. Eric.
Coming out of Davis County, 215 westbound slow now going by the airport, heading down to I-80. You've got some I-15 slowing in the same general area from the North Interchange down to downtown. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're going to look for a high today of 37 degrees, 30% chance of more precipitation, but some sunshine by this afternoon, and 60 by Friday. Right now in Salt Lake City, mostly cloudy and 30 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. I'm Tim Hughes.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
This morning's winter weather overnight led to crashes and some big delays, but the storm is clearing out as we work through the day.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage February storm. Adam?
Amanda, I made my way down to about 2100 north in Lehigh, where I wanted to just get a gauge on how bad the delays were. And I didn't even get all the way into the thick of these delays. It took me almost 15 minutes just to get from 2100 north in Lehigh to cross over Point of the Mountain. Right now, I just passed 146 south in Bluffdale. It's definitely a rough go right now, and it's going to take some time to clear. Good news is we were mentioning right now is that the storm is starting to clear out. You see mostly clouds just hanging over the Salt Lake Valley, and you see the snow, any bit of it we have left, condensed to either canyons or the high mountaintops. We're going to continue to see this storm push out and clear out as we make our way throughout the rest of the day. We're going to be clear, getting up into a high of 60 degrees, if you can believe it, when we get to this Friday. But then come Saturday, we get more mountain snow coming in. Sunday, more snow could be coming to the valleys. So take the break that we get over the next few days while you got it. Reporting live in Salt Lake County, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A skier is recovering in the hospital this morning after getting partially buried in an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston continues our live team coverage of the February storm. Peter?
Tim, 3 skiers made it out of the avalanche on their skis, but one of them was less lucky.
It actually partly buried one of the skiers.
That's Craig Gordon from the Utah Avalanche Center.
That resulted in some fairly robust injuries.
The Unified Police Department has confirmed to KSL that the skier made it out of the snow by way of a Department of Public Safety helicopter. But Gordon says this is a warning about today's unique risks on the slopes.
The avalanche danger in the backcountry has bumped up to a level 3. That's a considerable avalanche danger.
So keep safe out there. Check out the article on KSLNewsRadio.com for more information. Reporting live from North Salt Lake City, Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
A snowboarder says he was scared for his life when he encountered a homeowner near the Brighton Resort with a gun. KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson reports.
That snowboarder Lauren Richardson says he didn't know he was on private property when a turn took him down a private driveway he thought was a road. Lauren tells KSL 5 the property owner pointed the gun at him, but Brighton Mayor Dan Knoop says the man did not point the gun directly at Richardson, and if he had of, there would have been a problem.
He can't point it at somebody. That's brandishing. He did not point it at somebody. He did push the guy.
The mayor says officers have been up to talk to the man. Police say Richardson is not pressing charges, so there's no investigation, but wants the ski resort to post more signage warning snowboarders to avoid trespassing on private property. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
The snow continues to pile up in the mountains this morning, but spring break is on the minds of many. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live. Michael?
Tim, you'll recall how Salt Lake City International Airport saw nearly 27 million passengers pass through during last year's spring break. It was a record breaker, and the AAA is expecting a similar number this year. You see, it's all part of a rise in travel in the post-pandemic world, and here in the States, we'll see a lot of it around our neck of the woods. You can expect to see many travelers on their way to Arizona, California, and Nevada. And to give you a bit of a timeline, spring break for Utah's colleges will begin as early as next week. The K-12 grades will get off later on in March and April. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
One thing people will watch closely as we get closer to spring break is gas prices.
In the past week, the price of regular unleaded has gone down 2 cents to $3.25 a gallon, according to new data from the Energy Department. But analysts say more rising prices will be coming as we near spring and summer when travel demand picks up. Plus, more areas of the country will be switching to expensive summer blends of gas in the coming weeks.
ABC's Alex Stone says other factors impacting prices include an Indiana refinery that had problems a few weeks ago and attacks on tankers in the Red Sea.
First look traffic, and Andy, it looks like the sun's come out in Utah County.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll get some better speeds. It can't hurt the conditions, but you still got delays from Lehigh all the way to Draper. Mountain View and Bangerter are backed up through the daybreak portion of South Jordan right now. Bangerter because of a crash. Mountain View because it's super icy and probably people were trying to avoid Bangerter. Little Cottonwood still closed. Big Cottonwood open, but backed all the way from the mouth of the canyon up to the resorts. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. The polls are open in Michigan this morning for the state's primary election.
Donald Trump has barely campaigned here, but he's expected to once again cruise to victory over his final opponent, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Haley vowing to stay in through Super Tuesday, arguing that nearly half of Republican primary voters are against Trump.
ABC's Mary Bruce says only some of the GOP delegates will be decided in today's vote. The rest will be decided at convention.
BYU men's basketball team sits just outside the top 25, and tonight they have a big task of facing the 7th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks inside the historic Allen Fieldhouse. Pre-game here on KSL starts at 5 this afternoon. That means the tip coming your way a bit after 6.
The bankruptcy rate for NBA players is 6 times higher than the regular population. But KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson tells us Utah Jazz players do much better with their money.
Oddspedia.com ranked teams with players who have filed for bankruptcy or even had financial hardship. The Jazz is one of 8 NBA teams to not have any current or former players fit into those categories.
The report says the Celtics, Nets, and Bulls are the teams most likely to have players that file for bankruptcy.
President Joe Biden made a surprise visit to NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers. He was vice president the last time he appeared on the show, and his age, along with former President Trump's age, was a topic of discussion.
You got to take a look at the other guy. He's about as old as I am, but he can't remember his wife's name.
Yeah.
The president also talked about the war in Gaza, Taylor Swift, and conspiracies.
We've still got big delays northbound on I-15 from Utah County. Mountain View Corridor 201 freeway are also slow. We'll check it all coming up next on KSL.
Join your friends who rely on KSL each morning for the fastest routes to work and school.
I like traffic on the 9s.
So I need to get the kids up earlier so that my son isn't driving quickly in a snowstorm.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
Hey, have you saved more than $200,000 in an IRA or 401k? You may not realize it now, but you've got a big problem on your hands. And that problem is taxes. Because if you don't take advantage of some tax planning strategies now, Uncle Sam could take a big chunk of your hard-earned retirement savings. Learn how you could reduce the taxes on your IRA and 401k with a free retirement tax savings analysis. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $200,000, schedule your free tax strategy session now by calling 801-896-9622. Discover the tax planning strategies that could dramatically reduce your taxes in retirement. Call 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
KSL News Time, 8:09. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. We've been in emergency mode since early this morning, Andy.
Yeah, but the roads are turning from icy to wet now. That's helping the traffic through Lehigh a little bit now. In fact, you won't even come up on the back end of the slowing until Lehigh's Main Street. That's about a mile improvement over what it was at its worst. Unfortunately, from 2100 north to SR 92, that's still taking forever to get through that portion. All your northbound major roads, 2300 West, Saratoga Road, Redwood Road, and even some 3600 West delays trying to get up through Lehigh as well as people look for alternates. Heather?
If you're sticking with I-15 northbound from Point of the Mountain all the way into about 45th South and Murray is stop and go that entire way. But roads are a little bit better in the Salt Lake Valley than they are in Utah County, at least on I-15. Mountain View Corridor, though, still pretty icy, very slow as you come up from 126 South in Riverton all the way into South 90th South and South Jordan, West Jordan. And then we still have the accident, Bangalore Highway northbound at 104 South, blocking 2 right lanes of traffic. You'll have delays all the way back into Riverton, as well as delays on the 201 freeway from Magna to 5600 West due to a crash over on the left shoulder. Eric?
Westbound I-84 coming out of Weber Canyon, you still got some delays thanks to a multi-vehicle crash. It does seem to be getting better, though. This is just east of the power plant. If you're on I-15 in Weber and Davis counties, not seeing any slow spots till you go past the north interchange and head out down towards the Begg Street area. You got slowing on the 215 westbound going by the airport to I-80. Call 866-0RES and say you want the KSL special. $33 per room cleaned and $50 off air duct cleaning. 0RES. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's our first time in a while seeing a high of 37 today. It'll feel more winter-like with a chance for snow showers. Overnight, clearing out, we'll go 24 for an overnight low. 47 tomorrow, mostly sunny. We pop back to 57 on Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Still below the freezing mark, 30 now in Salt Lake City.
Dave and Dujanovic are going to be heading out the door here in a minute to the Fair Park neighborhood to do their show live and talk about the MLB stadium that might be coming to that neck of the woods. But Deb will stop by here and see us in just a moment on KSL.
So you want to stay with us for that conversation coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. I love the fact that our friends at Utah Community Credit Union have teamed up with Utah's tallest basketball player, Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
I've seen the billboards and the
Me
TV.
too.
He's a guy that knows something about being elevated, and we want to share more information about UCCU's elevated checking.
This is so awesome. I just switched my checking account over to Elevated Checking because what do you really use your checking account for? Well, let me tell you what I use mine for now. I get cell phone protection. I get roadside assistance. What do you pay for roadside assistance? It's all part of my free checking account. I even get, this freaks me out, telehealth. So I can do basic telehealth visits for free because of my app.
Yeah, and we had lunch with them the other day. Both of us, our jaws were just agape.
I don't know how they do this.
They were running through all of this, including credit monitoring that alerts you if there's any changes on your credit report. But how about this? You get a 0.25% loan discount on any new UCCU auto, recreational vehicle, or personal loan.
You get free ATMs nationwide. There are like more than 30,000 ATMs that are part of this network. Why would you have a checking account anywhere else when you can have Elevated Checking?
So if you use a debit or credit card 15 times or more, who doesn't do that? Or you have a monthly direct deposit of $500 or
Like
more.
me.
If your check goes into the account, you qualify for Elevated Checking. Do it today at UCCU.
Find out more at uccu.com or stop by any branch to open an account.
We know you're going to love where you bank.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 3 or more A.O. Smith water heaters. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us for the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. Over the years, I've talked a lot about hard water. It takes years off the life of water heaters and other appliances in your home. Leaves scum on the shower walls, and you almost need a jackhammer to remove that. I've talked about how Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer, their water softeners are maintenance-free. You just don't need adjustment, and they do the job with 2/3 less salt than other softeners. But today, I want to talk about the exhilarating feeling of stepping into a hot bath or shower and feeling that pure pure, soft water cascade over your skin. It feels like every pore in your body wants to stand up and start singing. And afterward, there are no itchy hard water deposits sticking all over you. You really should look into a soft water system from Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer. You can learn more about Connecticut by giving them a call at 801-576-8600 or log on to Softwater Utah. Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer. Then sit back and enjoy your shower even more.
KSL News Time, 8:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
snow expected to taper off in the valleys as we work through the day, but mountain and canyon snow could hang around a little bit longer. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a video of a snowboarder is going viral after he was confronted by a man with a gun near Brighton.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 traffic still going to take you over half an hour to get from American Fork to Draper. With extra delays on Bangerter this morning. Woo, that's been in bad shape since we had a crash near 104th. Delays have stretched back almost to 126th now. Plus, you've got big wait times to get into the canyons. Little Cottonwood's still closed for now. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
20 degrees colder today with a chance for snow showers. I'm Matt Johnson.
30 right now at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's check our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. At the White House about an hour from now, a big meeting between President Biden and the top 4 congressional leaders who have been summoned there to discuss avoiding another government shutdown. ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has more from Capitol Hill.
The new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, will be absolutely critical during these negotiations. He is facing growing pressure from the right of his party to use this as an opportunity to pass conservative policy wins on immigration and abortion. And while much of the focus in that room today is expected to be on how to avert this government shutdown, we are told that the president will also likely make another case to provide additional aid to both Israel and Ukraine. The Senate has already passed a bill to do that. It has gone nowhere in the House.
And President Biden on late night television talking about both the border deal and Ukraine.
President Biden on NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers blaming the aborted Senate border deal on Donald Trump, pressuring House Republicans to say no.
He's saying, no, don't do that because that'll help Biden. Help Biden? It's not about Biden, it's about the United States of America. And look, I don't want to get started.
The Senate bipartisan border compromise is what the House Republican Speaker demanded to pass more aid for Ukraine. He has now rejected both bills. Andy Field, ABC News.
The president headed to the southern border on Thursday. Donald Trump is headed there as well, but they will be visiting different Texas communities. It's primary election day in Michigan, where some Democratic voters say they will select uncommitted instead of Biden's name. Robert Wright is Jewish, but says Gaza is the reason he'll cast a protest vote.
The United States should not be supporting the wanton destruction of an entire people.
A senior Israeli official is signaling this morning that Israel might be willing to release Palestinians convicted of terrorist offenses in exchange for the release of female Israeli soldiers being held in Gaza as hostages. You're listening to ABC News.
All right, Dave and Deb have promised a home run broadcast today as they go to the ballpark.
We're going to knock it out of the park, Tim.
The new ballpark neighborhood, I should say.
So the Power District is on the west side, just off North Temple and about 1000 West. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Fair Park in that new area that's been proposed for the MLB stadium. Okay, we've got lots and lots of stuff to talk about. How much time I've got? I got seconds to tell you all of the things I've just learned in the last week. Because I want to share this with your listeners too and hope they stay tuned for our 3 hours of great content. I just hung up the phone with the mayor of Price, Eastern Utah. The reason I wanted to talk to the mayor of Price is because all communities all over Utah will be sending their tax dollars that will be raised because of the hotel tax increase that's proposed as part of the $1 billion ballpark. That's the taxpayer portion of this. To the Wasatch Front, right? So we can fund this ballpark. I was so shocked at his response to what he said about funding the ballpark. I thought it'd be very negative. He's super excited. He said the whole community's excited, and he reminded me of an important nugget in this legislation, and it's actually a big nugget if you live off the Wasatch Front, and that is search and rescue will also get extra funds from the state with the increase of the hotel tax. So search and rescue teams will see more funding, which they desperately need because they spend.
Why is that tied to a ballpark?
Well, I think it was a way to incentivize the rural areas to support this because they're going to be getting search and rescue funds, which they so desperately need because they spend so much time in the backcountry, not only saving people off the Wasatch Front when they, get off the path, but also from tourists who don't know what they're getting into when they're hiking in Utah's, our great trails in our backcountry. So we're going to talk about the tax increase with a tax expert to find out how that will be allocated. We're also going to talk about what happened in other communities. Specifically, we're going to go down to the Phoenix area and talk about what happened to the community of Glendale there when they finally decided to build an NFL stadium for the Cardinals to play. That was very, very messy. So just making the decision alone doesn't mean that the mess won't follow, and it was also really expensive as well.
Look, we're going to learn a lot.
Okay, we're going to learn a lot. It's
There's
3 hours.
baseball fans even in small towns.
That's right.
Love to drive.
He said they'd
just
come
an
up here.
hour more.
He said they would absolutely come up here. They support the Jazz, and they're going to support any major league team that comes here as well.
We look forward to the broadcast coming up at the top of the hour, and this portion of Utah's Morning News brought to you by Revere Health.
We've still got emergency traffic this morning, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, slowdowns I-15 Lehigh at their worst near SR-92, but they continue solid delay all the way to Bangerter Highway. Got another stretch near 106 South in Sandy where you'll come to a stop, and then your usual morning stretch between 72 and 5300 South that's still running pretty slow. If you're trying to use Redwood to get out of Utah County, it's Lehigh between Pony Express Parkway and 2100 North. That's going to take you the longest. Really, all your northbound routes trying to get to 2100 North are a mess in Lehigh. Heather?
And Bangerter Highway is pretty much stopped right now northbound between 126 South in Riverton all the way up to 104 South in South Jordan. That is due to a crash still blocking 2 right lanes of travel. It's been like that for a couple of hours now. There's also a crash on the 201 freeway eastbound just before you get to 5600 West. That is a pickup truck that is parked on top of the barrier between the eastbound and westbound lanes of travel. That has traffic backed up into Magna. And there's a crash on Redwood Road northbound. That's right about 13200 South. Can't tell which lanes are blocked there, but traffic is backed up all the way to Bangerter Highway. Eric?
Out to Park City, I-80 is very slow over the top of Bartley Summit. That's on the eastbound side. And then if you exit at Kimball Junction, expect slowdowns on 224 getting into town. From US 40, westbound Kearns Boulevard, that's 248. That's also very slow. Through Weber and Davis counties from Ogden right now, we don't see any slow spots on the freeway, and the delays that we had going by an accident between Mountain Green and the mouth of Weber Canyon, the delays at least have cleared up. Big O Tires is your one-stop shop for tires and service. Now through March 17th, buy 3, get 1 free on select sets of tires. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has got a springtime roller coaster. 37 today, that's 20 cooler than yesterday, with a chance for snow showers this afternoon. 47, mostly sunny for tomorrow. 57, partly cloudy on Thursday. We top out at 60 degrees on Friday, partly cloudy skies and breezy out of the south. Saturday, rain, snow showers, cold front, 52 the high. We drop to 39 with snow showers on Sunday. Monday, mostly cloudy, cold, 37. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Still 30 downtown, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We'll check the markets just ahead on KSL News Radio.
This hour of Utah's Morning News is brought to you by our friends at Cypress Credit Union, and Amanda Morton is back with us today. Some fun here as we get to announce another teacher winner.
Good morning. Yes.
Good morning, Amanda. Tell us, who is the teacher we're going to be showering with prizes this morning?
We're so excited to announce that Tiffany Rasmussen from Highland High School is our winner this month.
Well, we were looking at some of the nomination information, and so many students jumped on board to make sure that this great teacher was honored. Amanda Dixon,
Yeah.
here, you've got some of those comments, don't you?
Yes, I do. And in fact, I think the teacher is with us. Is she with us? Tiffany, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Tiffany, I just want to tell you, Tim and I were reading this morning these comments from your students. And I mean, we've had a lot of wonderful teachers on this program, but I was blown away by these comments of your students who just say, you've made their school life possible because they don't feel invisible. They feel seen because of you.
Sorry, it makes me teary-eyed.
It really, it's beautiful. I would be teary-eyed too.
Yeah, I planned on coming in this year and just keeping my head down, going to work, just doing what I need to. But then that's what my passion is, when my students show me that there's a need and I'm able to provide it for them. I just want them to be able to connect to going to school, because a lot of students are, just not connecting to school anymore, and they need something to anchor them and draw them back in. And so I'm happy that I was able to find a way for them to do that.
We're going to talk more during this hour about your overall philosophy as a teacher, but let us just shower you with some gifts here, including a $500 Visa gift card from the Cypress Credit Union. Also, $250 gift card to Harmon's. And I don't know if anybody's told you, but we've got season tickets to Hell Center Theater.
So exciting.
I just have to tell you, Tiffany, we'll spend the rest of the hour sharing your students' comments, but you just are making a profound difference in the lives of these young people, and I am inspired. I hope everyone will go to KSLNewsRadio.com/teacher and read about this extraordinary woman at Highland High School.
We'll have more information coming up, so stay with us.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Watching Utah's Money brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The Dow is off 120 right now. We're at 38,949. S&P is up 1, the NASDAQ up 35.
Wish I had different news to deliver about your drive, but slowdowns continue northbound I-15 in Lehigh. Also now Bangerter northbound between Riverton and South Jordan. Traffic and weather together when we come back.
Revere Health is dedicated to making healthcare easier and more accessible by offering the latest technologies to improve the patient experience. We offer convenient telehealth appointments so you can receive care from the comfort of your own home. We also offer an online patient portal called Follow My Health that enables you to manage your healthcare online. When you download the Follow My Health app, you can exchange direct messages with your doctor, view lab and test results as soon as they are available, renew prescriptions, and review upcoming appointments. If you're ready to schedule your annual physical for 2024, we've made that easier too. Revere Health now offers the ability to schedule appointments online for primary care and select specialties. Visit our website at reverehealth.com to learn more or to schedule your next appointment online. Through these convenient solutions, Revere Health demonstrates its commitment to quality, patient-centric care every day. Revere Health, your partner in health, your partner for life.
KSL News Time now 8:29. It's traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Still busy in Utah County, Andy.
Yep, I-15 backed up from Lehigh over Point of the Mountain to Draper. In fact, all the way up to 123rd South before you get to hit the speed limit again. Lehigh's Redwood Road is still backed up from the delays just start right after Pioneer Crossing, and then it's just going to take you forever to get up past 2100 North. And then it's okay, although we do have some backups between Camp Williams and Porter Rockwell Boulevard. Heather?
Some of the worst delays in the Salt Lake Valley are on Bangerter Highway northbound between 126 South in Riverton and 104 South in South Jordan. That is due to a crash that just cleared. All the lanes are now open at 104 South, but it's going to take time for all these backups to clear out. Now, it looks like a lot of people were taking Mountain View corridor as an alternate through that exact same stretch, but between the traffic lights and the icy conditions, you have a lot of backup there as well. The 201 freeway eastbound is a parking lot from 80th West almost to 5600 West due to a crash of a pickup truck sitting on top of the left barrier that separates east and westbound lanes. Eric?
Going into Big Cottonwood Canyon, slow this morning, and you've got some through Parley's Canyon on I-80 right at the Lambs Canyon area going up over the top of Parley Summit for eastbounders, and exiting at Kimball Junction. Expect further delays getting into Park City on 224 or westbound from US US 40 on Kearns Boulevard into town. If you're out in the Ogden area southbound, from there all the way down through Farmington, Bountiful to North Salt Lake, that's all looking good at the moment as far as your time on I-15. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing convenience with Ford dealers inventory, Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country all in one place. PerformanceBountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high will be 37. Tomorrow, the clouds will move out in 47 for a high. Right now, it's 30 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
Utah schools need more teachers, and the state legislature is trying to make it easier for people to get their teaching license.
But critics say this could lead to unqualified teachers in the classroom. KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston begins our team coverage Eye on the Hill 2024. Peter?
The state representative Norm Thurston says that he wants to give more people the chance to teach.
You've got kids from disadvantaged backgrounds who would love to be teachers, but the idea of spending 5 years and getting your college degree, having debt that associated with that.
But educators are not all convinced that this bill is a good idea, especially because it removes a test currently used to measure classroom competence.
Well, the way you do that is with a valid and reliable assessment, and that assessment is a pedagogical performance assessment.
That's Travis Rawlings, Associate Director of Licensing and HR for Granite School District. Opposition aside, the bill has passed the House and looks like it's got a clear runway in the Senate. Peter Johnston, KSL News Radio.
More Utah lawmakers are backing a bill to give incentives to new housing developers for saving water. KSL News Radio's Adam Small continues our team coverage, Eye on the Hill 2024.
Department of Natural Resources Executive Director Joel Ferry says at the rate we're growing, we need to make sure we do it right.
We're going to grow by millions of people here on the Wasatch Front, and it's going to go down, and it's going to impact all of our districts, not just the Wasatch Front, but the state. Millions and millions of people, and we're going to run out of water. We're going to run out of land if we're not smart about how we grow.
Now, this bill would provide incentives specifically for developers of new housing who choose to use water-wise grass turf on their properties or other alternatives that save irrigation water. The bill would provide $1 million for the first year of the program. It still needs approval from the full House. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Veterans exposed to toxins and other hazards of war used to have to wait years for access to VA health care. That wait ends March 5th.
Veterans Affairs announced the change thanks in part to President Biden's support by eliminating that long process, and will now offer veterans their health care service without waiting. The VA's Press Secretary Terrence Hayes is included among those veterans nationally, being part of the war in Iraq.
This impacts millions of veterans, many who may be challenged with some very difficult conditions as we speak. And to those veterans, I tell you, please take advantage of this opportunity.
Hayes said this is the biggest expansion of VA healthcare to date and hopes Utah's vets will visit the Salt Lake VA Hospital or their website on March 5th to sign up. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Researchers believe a new, more portable black carbon sensor could provide early warnings about wildfires and air quality. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson explains.
A new study from the University of Utah shows this smaller, portable black carbon sensor can identify particles just as accurately as older, larger units. The researchers concluded these newer models could be more accessible for communities to purchase and put in places like parks and schools, so the most vulnerable populations can have an early warning system when the air quality is bad.
Black carbon particles are produced by things like diesel and wildfire smoke, and health experts say it's hazardous for lung and heart health.
First look traffic now, and back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, travelers still seeing lots of wait time between Lehigh and Draper. We've got backups on Bangerter and Mountain View through daybreak. The 201 freeway sounds like they might even close it down here at 7200 West. We have a truck that went off the road and up over the median barrier around Mountain, just before Mountain View, and that's caused a huge backup. But again, it sounds like they may start diverting you around 7200 West. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. We have an update on the United Healthcare cyber attack impacting pharmacies around the country. ABC's Lionel Moise reports.
The attack crippled Change Healthcare's digital network, which is a part of United Healthcare. The company says it took immediate action to prevent further impact. Pharmacies use Change's network to verify insurance coverage.
And if you have a very expensive medication,
you might be stuck in a position where you have to pay cash.
Initial reports said a foreign actor could be to blame for the cyber attack, but Reuters now reports the infamous ransomware gang Black Cat may be responsible.
This type of cyber attack is becoming more common. A ransomware attack nearly shut down a Chicago hospital's communication system earlier this month.
Some people in Tooele are looking for options after the city animal shelter stopped taking in surrendered animals. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more. Michael?
Amanda, one of the reasons owners surrender their pets in the first place is because the animal is unruly. But Michaela Belden with Belden House Canine in Tooele says a little bit of training can go a really long way.
You know, if you're not able to afford training, you don't have time for training, there's other resources available.
Matter of fact, the Beldens offer one of those resources.
My husband and I, we do what's called a pack walk every Saturday at England Acres Park in Tooele at 11 a.m., and it's basically just a free training session.
Now, she says it only takes about 5 minutes to make a phone call to reach a trainer and help the family dog. That way, you don't have to surrender them or leave them abandoned. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Court arguments resumed today on whether the Utah Attorney General's calendar should be considered a public record. Attorney David Ryman shared his thoughts with KSL TV.
For more than a year now, the Attorney General has managed to drag this out with sort of morphing arguments in the hopes that it would become politically irrelevant. And we think the court should end that today.
Judge Patrick Corum will issue a ruling today.
A key part in the race to get people back on the moon and then to Mars is coming together right here in Utah. Details from KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
Northrop Grumman has been making solid rocket boosters at their Promontory facility since the days of the space shuttle. Now, their new booster obsolescence and life extension, or BULL motors, are being prepared for NASA's Artemis campaign. The first booster segment was just completed at the facility. A test of a full booster is scheduled for later this year.
NASA plans to use the new boosters beginning with the Artemis 9 mission.
A bomb threat in Utah apparently was the result of someone being uninvited to a wedding.
3 people are in police custody after a man crashed a wedding and said he planted bombs around the Moab venue. We're now learning the motive behind it was the bride uninviting her mother. Police documents say she threatened her daughter and told her if she wasn't invited, she would crash it. The bride's estranged brother and brother-in-law are accused of hiring the man for her, paying him $400 and a new shirt to crash the wedding. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Redwood Road and I-15 both crawling along going from Utah County into Salt Lake County. We'll check it next on KSL.
Spend time with KSL News Radio and get a deeper understanding of the world around us.
I do listen to KSL so much because you've got voices like Boyd Matheson.
I listen to him every day.
You can trust him.
Inside Sources, weekdays 1 to 3.
On KSL News Radio.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help. I'm Jason Erskine with American Home Loans, and we have created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The bridge loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlement, or just simply improve your property. Give us a call at 801-262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. During COVID, one of our clients had over $85,000 on credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. We were able to save them $2,000 a month, and after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and improved their situation. Look, the consultation is free. Please let us see what we can do for you. Call 801-262-2221. That's 801-262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. That's AmericanHomeLoans.com.
NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Emergency traffic brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. No relief yet. Hi, Andy.
There's some actually, but unfortunately it's not clear. The delays are still in place from Lehigh up to Point of the Mountain, but it is moving a little more consistently. The volume of traffic has decreased a bunch between Lehigh and Draper, but it's still going to be an extra 15 to 25 minutes of travel time over what it would be otherwise. Redwood's still going to take forever to get from Lehigh, Maine up to 2100 North. And then you've got additional delay up between Camp Williams and Porter Rockwell. Heather?
We're hearing on the scanners that UHP is thinking of closing the 201 freeway eastbound at 7200 West. Traffic may have to be forced off the freeway either north or south onto 7200 West. It's due to a crash just a little further east of that is parked on top of a barrier, the left barrier. So when they try to pull that off, they want all the traffic to not be there for safety reasons. Then the crash that was northbound Bangerter Highway at 104 South, that has cleared. All the lanes are open, but unfortunately the delays still stretch back into Riverton, so that's going to take you extra time to get through. Eric?
Southbound through Riverdale looks okay right now on I-15 if you're coming out of Ogden, heading down into Davis County. And we do have pretty good movement through through Weaver Canyon. Couldn't think of it for a second there. If you're on I-84 coming from Morgan and Mountain Green into the mouth of the canyon. And through Partley's Canyon, you've got your usual slowdowns and then some as you go from Kimball Junction over to Silver Creek. Then some, it comes from the weather conditions and to eastbound slowing from Lambs Canyon up over the top of Parley Summit and through Jeremy Ranch. Use Superior Water and Air for all your HVAC and plumbing needs. Call 974-9090 or visit SuperiorWaterandAir.com. Superior Water and Air, we got this. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's the season of spring swings. Last night's cold front will drop us to 37 for a high today. Chance for snow showers. 24 overnight tonight. We'll go 47 and mostly sunny tomorrow. High pressure building, 57. Partly cloudy on Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, still 30 degrees.
Man, that skier is just lucky to be alive after getting caught in an avalanche. We're going to hear more from Craig Gordon at the Utah Avalanche Center just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Stay with us, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. And this hour of Utah's Morning News is brought to you by our friends at Cypress Credit Union, great partners of ours for the Teacher Tribute Wall. And we've already established our winner this month is Tiffany Rasmussen from Highland High School. But, Tiff, we didn't get a chance to talk to you for a minute about the classes that you actually teach.
Yeah, I'm a social studies teacher. So I teach U.S. history and then AP World History.
Wow. I was just reading one of your students' comments. Ms. Rass has made it possible for us to feel like we are wanted here, that we belong here, and has helped us deal with racism at our school. Talk to us more about that.
The way the boundaries are set up is that they have students that go on the east side who are predominantly white, and then a lot of the students are bused in from the west side are minorities and language learners. So there's a little bit of I'm looking for the wording, but there's just a difference in the student population. And for a long time, the students who are bused up there feel like they are not seen within the student body. Like they don't make the cheer team or the dance teams. And there's just a difference, and they want to feel like they're included as well. So this was a way for them to feel as if they were included. Like they just performed for the talent show and they won the talent show. And then and then, then they start getting invited to perform at the games. And so they're just starting to feel like they're among their peers and not separate.
Well, they kind of ganged up on us. I mean, I can't tell you how many entries we had with your name on it. But you are very deserving today. And congratulations again to Tiffany Rasmussen there at Highland. Just a fantastic example of what the Teacher Tribute Wall is all about.
And you can let us know about a great teacher anytime. Just go to KSLNewsRadio.com/teacher.
Jeff Kaplan.
When I was a kid, my parents got me a subscription to Newsweek magazine. I would devour every page into the night. And to this day, I sit on my iPad looking for stories for my minute of news, flesh out our coverage, and I get to share the news with you.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 8:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
teachers in training might not need to pass a classroom management test in Utah if a bill passes the Senate this week. I'm KSL News Radio's Peter Johnston.
Second, snow today, but spring break is just around the corner, and many Utahns say they're anxious to take a road trip.
Third, a big effect on the drive, that weather today. Let's check it with Andy.
Well, eastbound 201 is closed now at 7200 West. Looks like most traffic trying to get from Magna to West Valley is having to use the frontage road. There's quite a bit of delay on it backed towards 8400 West. Still also have that slowdown I-15 from Lehigh over Point of the Mountain into Draper. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
37 today with snow showers, and then we're warming. I'm Matt Johnson.
30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's get a look at our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Another trip to the White House in search of a compromise to avoid a government shutdown. ABC's Rachel Scott is on Capitol Hill.
The last-minute scramble to try to avert a government shutdown all over again. So in just a few hours, the top 4 congressional leaders will head to the White House for a meeting with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. If lawmakers do not reach a deal by Friday, then funding for several key agencies will run out, including agriculture, transportation, housing, and veteran services. More than 100,000 federal workers would go without pay.
On Late Night with Seth Meyers last night, President Biden was a guest, saying there is a possible framework in place for a ceasefire in the Middle East. Some terror suspects could be released from Israeli jails in exchange for female IDF soldiers. That, according to a top Israeli official. President Biden headed to the border on Thursday. Donald Trump will also be there. In Georgia, anger over the murder of a nursing student, the main suspect in her killing a migrant from Venezuela in the country illegally. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth now. A skier very lucky to be alive today after an avalanche swept her and 3 of her friends down a mountainside.
This morning, we spoke with Utah Avalanche Center forecaster Craig Gordon about what happened.
So yesterday, a group of backcountry skiers unintentionally triggered an avalanche, which caught and carried most of them, and it actually partly buried one of the skiers, and that resulted in some fairly robust injuries.
Gordon's...
Okay, and do you know the status or what happened to that person?
You know, that skier was assisted out by a DPS helicopter, and their injuries were not life-threatening, although they definitely got bossed around a bit. I think that skier now is recovering, and we look forward to more of a follow-up, and we're going to have more details as we sift through the close call.
Gordon says wind played a big role in this slide, and that backcountry skiers need to be aware of the dangers.
So yesterday, winds were cranking along the ridges, and they were stripping the windward slopes and depositing that snow on the leeward slopes. So this is a steep upper elevation leeward slope facing the north half of the compass. Today, with more snow overnight and strong winds continuing, the avalanche danger in the backcountry has bumped up to a level 3. That's a considerable avalanche danger. And we expect things to get kind of sketchy into this morning and through the midday as the storm continues evolving and strong winds continue near the ridges.
The way Gordon puts it, they got bossed around.
Yeah.
I bet they did. We have an article with more information about this avalanche on our website, kslnewsradio.com. And if you're planning to be in the backcountry, especially today, make sure to check the Utah Avalanche Center website.
And by the way, avalanche danger gets even more complicated now with another 60-degree day coming on Friday, and then more snow on the back end of that. So we've got weak and strong layers that are going to be mixing up again.
And sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's the in-depth at 15 and 45.
All right, it's 8:49. Let's get a look at how the drive is shaping up with traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. We go back to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Tim, things are moving a little more consistently through Lehigh. There is an area of traffic where you come to a stop again just before SR 92, and now it's really backed up top of the hill as you get onto the Salt Lake County side of the border and up to the Bluffdale exit. Redwood still at its worst between Main Street, Lehigh, and 2100 North. All your northbound southbound routes are still backed up through that stretch. But then Redwood delays extend all the way up into Salt Lake County to the Porter Rockwell intersection. Heather?
All traffic is being diverted off of the 201 freeway. This is eastbound at 7200 West, and because of that diversion, traffic is backed up well into Magna, about 8400 West. It's due to a crash where a pickup truck is on top of the left barrier. A tow truck is on scene now trying to remove that truck, but that's causing the delays. We also have a crash reported on the west side belt. This is on the on-ramp from 3500 south to go northbound I-250. Just causing a bit of slowing in that area. Eric?
Through Parley's Canyon, I-80 slow for eastbounders going from the top of Parley Summit down into Jeremy Ranch and then to the Kimball Junction exit. A lot of it is because of wet roads, but some of it may just be because of usual traffic patterns, because you've got southbound slowing on 224 going into town, as well as delays on Kearns Boulevard westbound on 248 heading over into Park City from US 40. I-15 through Weber and Davis counties looking good right now. You don't have any delays the whole stretch from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake. For Advanced Window Products, $2,500 off 10 windows or more. AdvancedWindows.com. Affordable windows guaranteed. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has a wide range of temperatures over the next 7. We'll start at 37 for a daytime high today. Chance for snow showers. 47, mostly sunny for your Wednesday. Thursday, 57, back to 60 degrees, breezy out of the south, and partly cloudy on Friday. Saturday, cold front, rain, snow showers, 52. Snow showers on Sunday, back to 39. We're mid-30s on Monday, mostly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 30 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We're going to turn things over to Dave and Debbie. Dave and Dujanovic coming up right after the news at the top of the hour. Live broadcast from the State Fair Park as they continue to look for answers surrounding the possibility that we get a beautiful brand new Major League Baseball stadium. Stay with us.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. I get a lot of emails from people all the time. Here's one. Dear Dan, I hear your talk about a lifetime service guarantee. Free? Really? Please help me avoid all your fine print and be honest about what free means. You understand that we should be very wary of a free offer. Signed, Skeptical. Hi, Skeptical. I remember 22 years ago when we started PC Laptops and our lifetime service guarantee, people thought it was too good to be true. Well, after a decade, people started believing me a little bit. But it's been 22 years of having the privilege to serve our friends and neighbors like you. Our lifetime service guarantee has become the most trusted warranty in the industry. You can get a brand new PC Laptops desktop computer, and they start at only $29 a month. Check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com. Here's to seeing you soon, Skeptical.
This is Lisa Nichols from Intermountain Health with Your Life, Your Health. Intermountain Health has opened the first clinic of its kind in the Intermountain West that is designed specifically to support Spanish-speaking patients undergoing a kidney transplant. The new Intermountain Clínica en Español offers culturally comprehensive care where providers address patients in their native language and are trained to support patients' cultural needs and educational styles. Pre-transplant patients receive education and evaluation by all providers in Spanish, including meeting with bilingual providers in nephrology, surgery, social work, finance, and nutrition. Dr. Ivan Zendejas, Intermountain Health transplant surgeon, said the vision for the clinic is to help bridge the gap between the medical community and the Latino community and help our patients feel more comfortable when trying to maneuver the complicated transplant world. Programs like this are quite rare in the United States, said Dr. Zendejas. Patients who receive medical information in their preferred language are more likely to understand and participate fully in decisions about their care, according to research. Intermountain Health Transplant Services caregivers spearheaded this project, recognizing that there are many misconceptions about transplantation and the donation process in Spanish-speaking communities. The new clinic supports patients who prefer to communicate in Spanish and who are undergoing kidney transplantation with personalized and multidisciplinary care. For more information on the new clinic, go to intermountainhealth.org. I'm Lisa Nichols with Intermountain Health on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
It looks like a done deal that Utah's going to be the proud owner of a Major League Baseball stadium. That is, if we ever get a team. Today, we'll take the show live to the Power District, just a ground rule double away from the proposed stadium. today on Dave and Dujanovic.
Let's take a look at Utah's money here, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Experts think that airfare will go up this summer because of Boeing's legal trouble. Production delays and late deliveries will result in less flights, driving up those costs.
Netflix wants customers to stop paying their subscription through Apple. It's because Apple takes a 30% cut of all in-app purchases. Members billed through the App Store may be getting an email asking them to change their payment plan.
I noticed they just announced this morning that Sony's going to be cutting 900 jobs in their PlayStation division. I don't know whether that's AI related or not. But in an effort to stay in business, Macy's is also downsizing, closing 150 stores. To keep their head above the water, the retailer is focusing on luxury stores, Bloomingdale's and Blue Mercury.
Markets are mixed right now. The Dow is off 147. That's 0.4%. We're at 38,921. S&P is off 0.4. The Nasdaq's up 34, which is 0.25%.
Redwood Road, I-15, both crawling along, going into Utah County, into Salt Lake County, going from Utah County to Salt Lake County. We'll have one more look at traffic and weather together when we come back. And this hour of Utah's Morning News brought to you by our friends at Cypress Credit Union.